Shall we get started?
Yeah, let me actually get the doc up that has the questions. Do we want to introduce ourselves?
Indeed, let's go around the circle.
So, I am director Aaron Clare, aka Irish Pixie. I do the video editing and just kind of help with all the voice actors and whatnot. All that fun stuff.
This whole thing is her brainchild.
And then, do we want to go up there? Hannah, do you want to go next as our leading lady?
So I am Amy Sun, and I don't know, are we gonna like say something about us? Is this like all those?
You're gonna be saying plenty about yourselves. You can just say who you voice.
Say one interesting thing about ourselves, okay?
You can just say your name and who you voice, because we're gonna be saying plenty about ourselves. That's the whole point of this stream.
True, very true. So I'm Hannah. I play Amy. It's wonderful to see you all, and we love you so much. So much. Okay, your turn.
All right. Dylan,
Hi,
you're next.
Amy.
Or Eli.
Oh, it's my turn? Okay.
We're totally organized.
Oh, Amy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, hello. I'm Dylan, and I do the voice of Oliver. How's it going?
Hi, Oliver.
Bye, Joey.
Hi, Oliver. Alright, now let me just make
Right.
sure I have the right doc, because Silas was the one who compiled these, and I don't know if this is... Where is Silas? I'm
know,
trying to
you're
remember if
fine.
he ever
Flacco.
actually sent me the doc.
You want to
I can
go
go
and try to
some
listen
time.
Yeah, let's continue.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Flacco Taco. I voice David and Amy's dad and director Langley, and maybe more people in the future. We're not quite sure yet.
Hi, Dad.
Plot twist, he actually voices everyone.
Yeah,
He basically does, yeah.
My range
No,
is like,
actually-
incredible.
Zingdu voices everyone. We know
Zingdu
this.
does.
Yeah.
You know.
That's for sure.
Yeah, that's why I don't have a face.
He has all the faces.
The man
They're
with
all
no
like a
face, but many
conglomeration.
voices.
All of them. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yes.
Alright.
Alright, and then...
Cassie.
Washa.
Yes, Natasha.
Hi, I'm Natasha. I voice Cassie, and I put on makeup for this, and I'm ticked because my freaking camera doesn't work. So, hello, you get to see this tiny Cassie face instead.
Yeah.
But I assure you, I look fabulous. So just take
Yes.
my word for it.
I feel that. Me too.
Too fabulous for you to be
Eli.
able to handle.
Eli.
I have to go to the bathroom. Okay,
Last call for
okay.
bathroom breaks before we
Okay,
get
no.
started.
I'll go after. Okay, hi. I'm Elijah, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. And I voice. I forgot who is this again?
Only my favorite character.
I voice
You
I
voice
voiced La Simp himself, the best boy,
Voice.
Zeph.
the
And
cinnamon roll.
yeah, that's pretty much it. I do the voice cracks. I like to meme. I like to meme in the comments a lot. So if you see someone named Top Tier Eli, comment that's me.
Check out his YouTube
Okay.
channel. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you
Thank
have
you.
to do your voice crack
Thank
thing.
you.
You have to do it every time.
Oh, yeah.
The what?
The voice
Is it
crack.
like a
Wait,
When you
do
say
the-
hi, you're like, hi.
Is this like the Shrek situation? Do the roar. Do the roar. Well, hi guys. It's nice to meet you. I'm
Morty?
my name is Chadwick. Nice to meet you.
We
Right,
cast this man.
Pints in his Q&A.
We cast him just because he could voice crack on cue. Like that was a big reason.
I mean, that was certainly part of why we chose.
me and Dill were having a boxing match
A
for
true
the
talent.
casting.
Oh my gosh, it was so hard casting the guys because you all auditioned for like all of the guys and you all were amazing at every role.
Thank
But
you.
I feel like once we cast David,
Okay.
it was either when we cast David or Oliver that all the other voices kind of fell into place. Like, once we
Yeah.
decided on one, we were able to decide on the other.
Yes.
Oliver is the Cheeto.
Okay.
Because
That
our
makes sense.
cast is just so freaking talented. They make it hard to
Exactly.
cast.
Yes.
Ah.
You do say so yourself.
Yes.
Oh gosh,
We'll
no, not me. You guys. No, I was not shooting my own horn this there.
I thought you were talking about like you were including yourself in that statement.
No!
That doesn't count.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
to everyone.
I think she can. Granted, she voices like 90% of each comic. So let's be honest here, guys.
If anybody's in the right to claim credit for this, it's definitely Klana.
It's
Oh,
Amy.
well, she's gone now.
Let's
We
just start
fucking
guessing.
knew Amy.
We
She's gone, guys. Let's
Right.
start.
We should
Let's start
start with the
guessing.
questions, right?
Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
go
okay,
over.
wait,
that's a
wait.
good
Okay.
idea.
While you guys are answering, I'll be right back. I really need to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
You
Okay,
guys
right.
take care of yourself.
Run
Don't
like the
have
wind.
trails. Don't die. Okay. So I'll just go off of the doc I have here. Because these questions, we still got quite a few on this little doc here. And then if Silas manages to join us later, he's our head of marketing, as well as like my producer. Like he and Natasha are like my right and left hand people in this whole project.
Yeah, they're like pretty much the reason we exist. So.
This project would not exist without all of their amazing help. Without everybody who's involved in this, all of their amazing help. But yeah,
I'm just
Nat and
Silas is like
they
the
are
crazy,
MVPs.
like intense mind worker ant person. So you're just like, Silas, I need this. And he's like, I'm on it. I've got
He's-
60 sheets of research.
He's
Yes.
the one who's bursting to the brim with ideas to the point where we need to reel him back a
We're
little.
like, okay, all right.
Which is
that's
very
great.
much a good
Yeah.
problem to have. All
Have
right,
you tried calling him? Call him.
I don't have his phone number. I don't think.
The troubles of
But
working with
Honestly,
a
I
Discord
should
team.
I should see like I have Nat's number. I should see to it that I have all like the decision board.
We
phone
are
numbers.
all like in
just
different
in
parts
case, right?
of the world
Yeah.
and the country. So
I am
it's
hailing
kinda
from
hard.
I'm hailing from the overrated land of California. Nat is hailing
Okay.
from beautiful mountains of Utah.
The
And then
underrated
Flo-
land of Utah.
Yes. And then Silas is living in the I don't know land of Florida. So
Yeah.
He's a
The
Florida man.
Florida man.
Well, Dill is in
he's
Texas.
like it's funny though because he's like the least Florida
Actually,
man
right
of
now
the
I'm
Florida
in
man.
Mexico.
Oh, you're in bed. Oh, that's cool.
Right now I'm in my grandma's house. Yeah.
Oh, that's
I'm in
awesome.
my grandma's house. It's because I live at the border. So like even though I live in
Oh.
Texas, my grandma's house is only 30 minutes away. I'm in Mexico, but I'm close to my
Nice. That's great.
Gotcha.
And then
It's like four
Flacco.
corners
Yeah.
across two countries.
Flacco's
I-
in Texas.
Flacco's in Texas. And Zingdu.
I'm on
Are
the
you
moon.
also in-
I'm
Ah,
on the moon.
yeah.
I don't know
Oh,
what to tell
yes.
you.
Forgot to
Well,
That's
no.
why
introduce
he never
the
returns our
fantabulous Zingdu. This is
Yes,
the
we never-
fantabulous Zingdu, everyone.
Zingdu.
Yeah,
I think
I-
there's basically
I
an
just wanted to
honorary
tell
member
you.
of the decision board at this point.
Yeah.
We should just give him the role.
Right. I mean, why not? I
Yeah,
haven't. I
why
don't really know what
not?
term to use for him other than a resident troll, and I say that with the utmost
Excuse you.
affection and endearment.
I am not a troll. I'm a troll.
I'm a troll.
Thank you very
He
much.
lives under the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gives us memes and sarcasm. in order
And
to
wonderful
cross.
companionship during table readings
Sarcasm,
and stuff.
yes. Memes, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, you are a meme. You're a walking
Oh.
meme.
Oh, well, thanks.
All right. So,
Speaking of memes, nah.
hey,
Zep is
return.
back.
I'm back.
We
Hi,
said
I got
meme
agua.
word.
Hi there.
We
Does anyone
summoned
else want
him.
water?
I have
That,
water.
I'm gonna drink some
Oh,
water.
I'll
I
I
got-
have
okay.
water and I have tea.
Oh, I don't have water. Can I get water?
Yes,
Yes, you
run and get
can.
water.
Sure.
Go, 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 go.
Get some agüita.
I have to drink
Agua.
water.
The stream
It's 6
barely
degrees up
started
here.
and I'm already like halfway done with my water. So
Bro,
I
you're having on a bathroom break too.
Hold on, I don't have any water. Let me download
Maybe.
the app.
Okay.
Alright, so can we
I'll
get
load up the
started?
doc too.
Yes, everyone is waiting for their wonderful questions to be asked. It is time to ask
the
them.
Q&A
Yes.
part of the Q&A. The
Yeah.
reason we're
Yeah.
here.
That's
Oh, I
the
thought we
whole
were playing
reason
Among
why
Us.
We're here.
I thought this was Spanish class.
Which
The
also
Q&A
is
Jeopardy.
okay.
Okay.
Alrighty. First question. Are you guys ready?
No.
No.
JK, yes.
Take the job, keep it.
Yeah.
Alright. So, Leah P, and by the way, I apologize in advance if I mispronounce any of your guys' names, but Leah P asks, how did you guys audition? Was there a particular set of lines for each character, or was it all the same lines?
Who do we
I
want?
think
to
I think
answer
I think Amy wants to go first.
Yeah.
Dang.
Of course, we
Hard.
start without her. There she is.
There she is.
There
There
she
she
is.
is.
Yeah,
Come,
okay.
come, child.
Amy.
Why don't you just start from the top of
Yes,
the Discord
that's-
call and just work down?
I have
Yeah,
returned with
so-
not
okay,
one,
okay.
but two waters. And one is in my
Yes.
lovely My Neighbor Totoro,
Wow.
which I love.
That's adorable.
That's cute.
I love
That's
him.
cute.
A literal art form of a movie.
Yes! Yes, literally. Oh, I could talk about it all day. Let's not go there. Let's
Yeah.
stay on topic.
Oh wait, did Clanna hear what the question was?
No,
she
she did
was
not, so I will reread it for
Okay.
you. So, Leah P asks, how did you guys audition? Was there a particular set of lines for each character, or was it all the same lines?
Would you like to elaborate, Pixie?
Well,
Since
that's
you
just
set up
what's
the
written here.
audition process.
Oh, okay, sure.
no, I
guess
mean, like, would you like
I
to?
mean, if you
answer
guys
this?
don't, I will.
Yeah. So basically,
Okay.
we held the audition process in essentially 3 stages. The first stage was on a site called the Casting Call Club, which is what we used for all the initial auditions. In it, we had 2 mandatory scenes, and then we let people choose a scene of their own that they wanted to do to either show off their skills or maybe explore a different aspect of the character. And then we either decided, love this voice, they're cast right from the get-go after receiving those auditions, or we'll pick people for callbacks, which basically just mean we want to hear them again before making a solid decision, either because there's so many good ones, or because, okay, there's lots of potential in this voice, let's see if we can really just completely let it go. And so if they make it to callbacks, then we pick one of the initial audition scenes. We pick a new mandatory scene that maybe explores a different aspect of the character or a different emotion we want to hear from them. And then another auditioner's choice. And they submit their first callback recording. We'll listen to it, and then we'll schedule a one-on-one meeting with them to kind of just meet them and get an idea as to, what kind of person they are, and maybe get some live interaction with them and read through a scene together. And then we'll give them some pointers and some tips, and they'll take those pointers and tips and all the coaching that we can give them and redo their callback recording, and that's the one that decides whether they get the part or not. So, very elaborate process. If you're doing a dub, you do not have to be that in-depth. I was just crazy.
If I'm
She
not
was like,
actually,
we're going to voice these characters. we're
If
gonna do
I'm
it
not
right. But what were you
mistaken-
saying, Nat?
if I'm not mistaken, there was actually no second callback recording. We did the meeting
Oh,
first,
that's right.
and then they did
Yeah.
a recording based on that. And this is actually really useful
That's right.
information for
Yeah.
anyone who is listening who is interested in auditioning. We'll be doing auditions for what we're calling Season 0, commonly known as the Arno arc, really shortly. Probably, we're probably hoping
Yeah.
to start that in the next couple of weeks. So keep an eye out.
Yeah,
if you
speaking of which, I want to meet with you and Stylist to talk about that some more.
Yes.
Yeah, but for the most
Ooh.
update information, if you're wanting to be involved in that and get up to date announcements and stuff, the best way to keep track of that would be joining the Discord. If you need a link, ask in the chat
Yes.
and someone will invite you. I guarantee half the people there are on the Discord.
Yes.
Yes, 100%. And the Discord, for all, just to clear any anxiety, it is literally the most wholesome place on the internet.
It
Everyone
really
is
is.
so
Oh my
sweet
goodness.
and so
Yes.
supportive. They will send free cat pictures. If you're having a bad day, people will flood you with pictures of their pets. Everyone loves everyone. We have rules in place to make sure that everyone is respected, and so yeah, it is a safe space for all. Don't be anxious about joining.
It is a nice refresher after coming over from Twitter. Let me just say that first.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Twitter
I'm
is
not
a.
gonna
Brian
say
Cannon into a
anything.
nice bed of fluffy pillows.
Oh yeah. Oh definitely.
Oh,
Alrighty, are we ready for the next
Yeah.
question?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, next
Sure.
question. Star Lady Animations asks, what inspired you guys to audition for the dub?
Do we
Aaron.
want to start at the top of the
Yeah,
list?
let's do
and
one
then
at
go
a
down?
time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
start at the top,
so-
go down.
Okay.
Next easy.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Klana, you're always gonna be first. I'm sorry.
Okay, well at least I
Unless
get
you
it
don't wanna
over.
go first.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just making fun of myself. Okay. Anyways, so for me, actually, I didn't really know about Space Boy, and I hadn't read Space Boy, and then Aaron and we shared a room until I got married and moved out during the dub production, and so Erin and I stayed up like late into the night talking about this dub, and she was so excited about it. And it was like just her brainchild. Like there was no Discord, no, a casting call site or anything. And then she got connected with some people from the Space Boy dub, the official dub, who were like, yeah, we will support you and help you. And Nat was one of those people. I believe Silas was also one of those people. So once I found out like that there was going to be auditions, and I saw like how passionate Aaron was about this project, it really, really piqued my interest. COVID also had just started getting into full swing, so all of the theater productions I would typically be in, I couldn't do. And it was just such a great opportunity to have an outlet for acting. So I started to read the audition scenes, and I identified with Amy so much. I mean, I auditioned for everyone. I auditioned for Oliver. that was a good time.
The time we
I was
had
like,
almost
Amy.
no guys audition for Oliver, we had no clue who all we were gonna get when we opened this thing up. So Steph was just curious and played around with, just pitching her voice down a little bit to say, like, worst case scenario, if we don't get any guys, like,
Here's
I'm like,
this.
I mean,
yeah.
I guess, but
Yeah,
I
and then
mean,
it started this stream of
that
girls
works.
trying to do it, Yeah.
That works.
Um,
There's some comic dubs on YouTube that have like millions of views, and it's voiced by one person on
Yeah.
iMovie.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
Those are insane.
So yeah, so I auditioned for everyone, but Amy really touched me, and I really, really connected with her as a character because we are very similar as people. We're both total givers. Like if you know the Enneagram, we're totally Enneagram 2s, like 100%, and struggle with like self-care and stuff like that. So yeah, I love auditioning for her. How about you, Oliver, or Dill, or?
Okay. Well, I was just like randomly scrolling through the Space Chord server, which wasn't really active in. I kind of just like was there for the memes because they had good memes. But
Respect.
then I saw that yeah, because I saw Aaron had he posted like a brief announcement saying that she was planning a dub, and I was like, well, this looks fun. And I had like a little bit of experience voice acting before because I have a friend of mine who runs and he does some animations on YouTube, and I voiced a few characters for him. And so then I was like, well, you know what, this might be a cool way to expand voice acting. And so then I auditioned for Oliver, and I also auditioned for Zeph. I didn't audition for David because I didn't think that my voice suited David very well. So yeah, I ended up liking. Yeah, so then I auditioned for both of those characters, and I also really like both Oliver and Zeph, and I relate to both of them. So that is what I did, and and now here we are. This was back when I was like finishing high school, when like the pandemic first started, and now I already finished my first year of college. So that's like a really big time span.
Dude,
I
that's
know.
weird, huh? It's
The thing's been
weird.
here for over a year now. It's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
nuts. It feels like it's
Yeah.
been less than a year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It's
it
like a fever
honestly
dream.
does, but it's just
All right, Eli, did you
kind
want to
of
go
just,
next?
Sure.
Oh.
Do I do an introduction? No, okay.
So what inspired you to
so, okay.
audition?
What inspired me to audition? I was actually this is the first webtoon that I have ever read. I got on the app because I was bored, and I love the art style, and I binged the entire series within 2 nights. And I was so inspired by. I'd actually started doing comic dubs on YouTube maybe 3 years prior, and I fell in love with this comic, and I was like, I hadn't found any dub at all of this, and I was like, yo, I really want to do this. I want to try out my editing skills. I want to try out a new character. And I actually voiced over the first comic as Oliver on my channel. And I loved it. I was planning to start my own little series dub, but then I posted it on Space Cord because I was like, okay, I really want people to see this because I'm proud of it, and I
was
just
really
really
good
wanted to give
too.
the community something. Thank you. And all of a sudden I got a DM from somebody. I straight up forgot who it was. I feel sorry. I'm so
I
sorry.
want to say it
But
was Matt. I feel like Matt's the one who found you.
That's in
I
character.
don't know.
I do remember seeing your thing on Space Cord. I think I
Yeah.
could have been the one to DM you. I don't remember for sure, but I could search Discord
Yeah.
history really fast and find out.
Oh heck yeah. Yeah. And then they told me that there was actually already a whole team that was planning to do the dub already. Like they said they had the directors, they had sound editors, and I'm like, well, crap. That's a lot more than I had. It was just me. And then I joined. They were like, yeah, hurry up, go and audition. They're ending the auditions today, and I'm like, oh okay. I quickly joined the server. I got into contact with Pixie, and we started talking. I was happy to like fan over how we both felt about the series as a whole and how we wanted it to go out.
Yeah.
I was really happy how the direction looked it was going, and I was like, well, alrighty, I'll go ahead and audition for who I can. I'll audition for Oliver. At the time, I didn't really look into characters. I just enjoyed the story as a whole. But as I got to know each character, like I'm very similar to Dill, where you felt a lot of attachment towards I felt a lot of attachment towards Dill, towards I call him Dill now, Oliver and Zeph as a whole. More
I
towards
feel
Zeph
attracted
though.
to you too, man.
Oh heck yeah. And I felt more of a little
Yes,
attachment to
I
Zeph,
am.
bro, because me and him are both simps. But
Oh my god.
I auditioned for as many people as I could. I remember getting the call back, and I remember messing around with Zeph because I feel like Zeph is a very memeish kind of guy, and that's why I related to him on. And I always knew that I could voice crack
Yeah.
just randomly. Like I started busting out all this different stuff, and they called me on it. They're like they loved it. They were like, did you mean to
Nobody
do
else
those
could
voice
do
cracks?"
that.
They're like, did you do those voice cracks on purpose? And I'm like, yeah. And they loved it. And as I got to the process, it was leading towards Zeph a little more. I was just happy being involved in the project in general. And
Mhm,
now
yeah, same.
after having studied the character a lot more, and it's really nice to have something to act in after COVID kind of deprived us of that.
Yeah.
And looking more into Zeph's character, I'm like, wow, this guy, I feel him on a spiritual level, man. So,
That's awesome. 'Cause
I'm very
acting-
blessed to start working with everybody. Yeah, that's my little story on that.
Because acting
Yes.
is like something that you also like want to do professionally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I've been blessed to have been given the opportunity to both do what's it called, film acting and voiceover work in the industry now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
hopefully one
Check
day,
out his
one day.
YouTube channel, Top Tier Eli. Look him
Thank
up.
you so much. Thank you. You guys are so nice and supportive. Ah, such a nice.
Alright. So
Thank
Flocko,
you.
what inspired you to audition?
Oh boy, this would have been a long time back, right at the beginning of the lockdowns and stuff from 2020. I was hanging out in the Space Cord because I've been reading Space Boy with my girlfriend Duchess of Handalore for quite a long time. I think since 2017, 2018. I can't remember the exact year. She can, and she's gonna tell me later. But I got to reading on the Space Cord. And I saw that somebody, I can't remember who it was. It may have been River, or it may have been Natasha. I'm not sure. They posted out like, "Hey guys, we're doing like a fan dub of the Space Boy webcomic, and we're looking for people to come and help out." And I'm just sitting here, just like, "Oh my gosh, my years spent looking up to Ian Cummings and D. Bradley Baker are about to be fully realized. This is the day I've been waiting for." I had done some like acting stuff through like vacation Bible schools in years prior, and like one brief stint of like voiceover work for my theater teacher, but that was in like 5th grade and 6th grade, so I hadn't done any voiceover work in a long time. So I'm just like, "Hey guys, could I maybe try out for some?" So I that's what I did. I went and I tried out for all the main roles, all the secondary roles, and then after about the 6th audition set that I recorded, I'm just like, this is too much. This is taking too long. I'm gonna maybe stop myself at like 5 or 6 characters for auditioning. It wasn't for lack of interest. I was just wanting to get myself like into this project because I loved Space Boy as a comic and still do, and I love voice acting as a hobby, and still do, and so I just wanted to see where I would fit best. So I applied everywhere with my voice, tried a whole bunch of different ranges, and yeah, they sent me quite a few callbacks.
Oh yes,
yeah.
you're one of those few
Dude.
people where you are a complete chameleon with whatever you do, no matter
Yeah,
what
man.
character
This
it
is
is.
so true.
You are able to create an entirely unique voice for that character, which is such a unique skill. Like
Yeah.
it was
Yup.
amazing.
Yup.
It's a God-given gift.
Sometimes you'd be like, okay, Flacco can't be every single guy character. Come on.
No, and I'm
Like-
glad I'm not. These guys
Like-
like Oliver and Dill or Zeph way better.
Yes.
Yeah.
But dude,
Well,
but even in like the community of voice actors, it's hard to like try and differentiate your voice entirely
Yeah.
from what your base voice is. And
Yeah.
for you having the ability to be
Yeah.
able to do that, ranging from Amy's dad and David, like it's
And
really cool to
Langley.
see. And Langley,
And
dude,
Langley and
everybody.
a couple
Yes.
other characters.
Director.
I just find it a lot of fun. I
Like,
just
I
find
didn't
it a lot
even
of fun.
I didn't even know
That's
that
good.
you were voicing a good chunk of the characters until like we all started talking, and I'm like, whoa, look at that guy.
Well, Flacco is another one of those people that could very easily do this for a profession if he wanted to. I honestly feel like everyone in this cast could do this as a
Yes.
profession if they wanted
Yes,
to. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Honestly,
you guys are all just amazing.
I really have to do anything with these guys. I'll be maybe like, okay, maybe in this recording, end on a down with this sentence instead of going up like a question. They'll be like, yeah, okay, but half the time I don't even have to do anything. I
Yeah,
just
I
kind of
haven't
put them
gotten
together
any
and let them
notes
do
in any
their
of our
magic.
table
I
reads.
mean,
All right.
I'm just like,
Nat,
where do I
what
get my
about you?
notes from?
you
Wait, start,
don't.
just start messing up on
Fascinating.
purpose. Start messing up on purpose.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'll throw in some voice cracks. They seem to like that.
Oh my gosh. So what's funny is
Of course.
he did some voice cracks with his initial audition file for Zeph, and then when we told him how much we loved it, he sent in his callback recording.
Oh my gosh.
He kind of went a little overboard with the voice crack. It was like, for like every line,
I had a flex.
You still get the role, but dial it back.
I had to flex a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Flex the
Alright.
dad voice.
Yeah.
Natasha.
All right,
you're
Nat,
up,
do
man.
you want
Who's next? Who's
do you,
next?
do you want to say what inspired you to join the dub?
Heck yes. So actually,
To audition out.
so I think you and I met through the comments section of my comic.
Yes. Yes. So she has her own comic. It's on Webtoon Canvas, Pot of Gold, Natasha Berlin. Look her
It's
up. It's a
awesome.
great comic. But I remember as
Yeah.
I was reading, because Steven gave her a shout out, she did a Q&A episode with her characters, and one of the questions is like, so what's your favorite song? And one of her characters is like, oh, I'd have to go The Saltwater Room by Owl City. And then
Yeah.
immediately I go to the comments like, oh my gosh, you know Owl City, I didn't even know the obscure. And we just had a whole conversation in the comment section fangirling about our favorite music artist, which led to us being friends on Discord, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Wait, so did you find my comic through Spaceboy?
Yeah,
Oh,
when Steven gave
there
you,
you go.
and I think he also gave Dusty Dells a shout out. He was
Yeah.
she was yeah. So I checked out your comments after he gave you guys a shout out, because I mean, why wouldn't I?
Yeah. So
So that's how
Nah.
we met.
Nat, what inspired you to audition for Cassie?
so
Or just audition in general?
well, actually, I'm getting to that. It's a long story.
Ooh.
But yeah, so it
Sorry.
started with me meeting Pixie. I guess she found my comic through Spaceboy. So I'm the colorist for Spaceboy, and so that's why he shouted out my comic. But anyway, we met through the comment section, and we became friends on Discord, and then she told me that she wanted to do a dub, and she wanted to get me involved because I was working for Spaceboy, and I could kind of connect to the comic, and like, I think she was asking me, like, would Mr. McCraney be okay with it? I'm like, just email him. But then when she got the permission to get started, she wanted to make the Discord, and so she brought me onto the Discord to help get it set up, because I'm good at setting up Discords. And that was where I was involved. I was just gonna, like, you know, kind of help get things set up and started, but as we got into the audition process and we were like starting to get those done, I was like, well, hey, this looks like fun. Like, I might as well audition for some characters too, because like, well, partially we just needed people because we didn't have a ton of people at the beginning.
Yeah.
And two, because like I like attention and signing up for more things than I can handle. So
Same. No.
yeah, I auditioned for nearly every female character except for like Amy. Actually, I was like, I don't have a protagonist voice. I have a sassy best friend voice. So like,
Fill it
yeah.
up.
But I got really attached to Cassie as I was auditioning. Like I was like, okay, I really want this role. I was like, I really want to do
There
Cassie.
were so many good Cassies, man. It was crazy.
I almost didn't get it. It was almost a girl named Hannah, actually, interestingly enough. A different Hannah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was
different
like,
Hannah.
wait, I don't remember
It
that.
was so close,
yeah.
and that was just a hair ahead, but it was
Barely
so
got
good.
it.
Like, I'm like, you got Silas!
Silas is
Everyone
here.
meet the amazing Silas Volton, one of our key members of the decision board and server as a whole. It's like he's my producer,
He's the
and then Nat is
backbone
like
of
my.
the dub.
It's like he's my producer, and then Natasha is like my assistant director with things, and that's kind of like the right hand, left hand thing going on here. Anyways, hi Silas.
We
How are
love
you doing?
See
Can you
lost.
speak?
I can't hear you if you're
Hello?
talking, by the way.
You're really
Yeah.
quiet, but I can hear you.
Ah.
I can't hear him at all.
I can't hear him at all.
Oh, I heard a little
there we
peep.
go.
There's
Here
a
he
little
comes.
bit.
Oh, okay.
I turned them up.
Hey, there
Hey,
he is.
you're at 200% for me. Please don't destroy my earbuds.
Turn on your camera, Silas. Peer
Do it.
pressure.
You have it.
Give me 1 second. Give me
Peer
1 second.
pressure.
Give him 1
Oh, yeah,
second.
he's
Yeah.
dead.
Can the chat hear Silas?
Yes, chat. Can you hear Silas?
It'll
Oh
take
yeah,
a minute
Silas
to
also
respond to this.
voices the janitor and the advanced calculus teacher.
Which
And he
very
does
Cool.
amazing.
Which
That's
reminds me,
cool.
I also voice little Amy. That's like my little role within the project.
And she
as
does
well.
so well. I tried to audition for
Yeah.
little Amy, and I was so squeaky. I was very squeaky.
Oh, don't worry, me
I
too.
just-
Me
When
too.
you're
She makes it sound so
asparagus skills.
natural.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess what inspired me to audition, outside of just the inspiration to do the project as a whole, was just because I literally had absolutely no idea what kind of people we would get, how many people we would get. So I thought, you know what? Why not? I'll just throw my hat in the ring because I want to get a little bit more acting experience too. And I came very close to landing Amy's role, actually. And this is one of the
Yeah.
reasons why I'm very glad I had made the decision board, was so that I wouldn't be the one calling the shots. And because I was auditioning, I would have outside opinions to kind of help give me a much more balanced view of everything, in case I had any sort of like bias towards myself. And there were so many good Amy's, but as we whittled it down, it ended up being between me and my sister. So
Which
it
was
was
not
like,
intentional at all.
it was not intentional. That's just genuinely like where things ended up landing, and we just finally ended up deciding on Klana, because right from the first audition, she auditioned for like every other female role, just because that's a really good thing to do if you want to get acting experience, is just for audition
Yes.
as many roles as possible.
Yeah.
And every time we came to our audition, we're like, yeah, she's good, but it just sounds like an Amy voice. So from day one, we just kept thinking Amy voice in our heads. So
I didn't know that.
yeah,
That's so funny.
yeah. So
I even tried to do Saito. I was like, Dr. Langley, what are you doing?
Well, dude,
Saito
Saito though.
but then I ended up getting little Amy, so that made me fun. That made me
Saito,
Our
fun.
Saito. Oh,
We actually found her through a Cassie audition. She didn't audition for Saito.
Yes,
yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
she
I
auditioned
forgot
for
about
Falcon.
that.
and Nat, as we listened to her Cassie audition, we're just talking about her. Nat goes, "No, guys, you know who she would work great as?" Cue the silence.
Typo.
Commander Saito, and then there's just a pause, and we'll go, yeah. So it's kind of like one of those unexpected moments and those rare times where we specifically ask a voice like, hey, can you please try out for this character that you didn't try out for initially? We think you'd be great at it, and she
That's
did,
another
and that's how we
reason-
got our Saito.
That's another reason why callbacks are
Lost.
helpful.
Yes.
Silas, we can see you. The chat is saying that they are having a
Yeah.
hard time hearing you, so if you could say something. and I shall read the chat and see what they
I have
say.
your user volume all the way, pretty much all the way up on my.
Oh, I know what's
I
up,
have it all the way up
Silas.
on my
Yeah,
YouTube.
you're gonna have to
Hi.
do that to be heard. With earbuds, that's a problem. A consistent problem with Apple earbuds is you have to have the mic right up to your face, or no one can hear you.
Click on the right
Ooh.
voice chat, and I
Well,
clicked in
it's
the other
because I
one.
don't have the Apple earbuds. Ha! The cheap commercial ones that I found on Amazon because I
Alright,
can't get $150.
Can you guys hear Silas now?
I can hear him.
So
I
your
can hear
camera's
him.
working,
I,
yay!
Yeah,
I can hear him
I
just
can
fine.
hear
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, as
reading
long
the
as his
chat. I
unit
will
is
let
working.
you know as soon as they say.
Awesome. Well, Silas, do you want to say what
Yeah.
inspired you to audition real quick before we move on to the next
Wait,
question?
wait. Let's see if the chat can hear him first. 1 second.
Yeah.
It is like
Yeah.
it is like
There's
10
no
seconds
point in him
behind.
answering if they can't.
There's a bit of
Okay,
delay.
Okay,
he
I
says
hear.
we heard you say hi.
Hey
They
guys,
can hear him. We are good to go.
yes.
Yes.
the audio in the thing is actually the same audio that I hear in my headset, and so I can tell you guys what they can hear, other than my mic.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay,
Oh,
sick.
hallelujah. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So-
And also, Silas, let me know if I have the right Q&A doc. I'm assuming I do, but I know that you gathered all of the questions the other day. So if you have a doc that has all of them, send it my way if you haven't already. But with that, do you want to say what inspired you to audition real quick before we move on to the next question?
Turn on your camera, Pixie.
I'm
Oh.
very much seriously going to just go and just
Oh.
totally do this.
Yeah.
So when I was on the decision board, I took things very seriously, and I'm still on the decision board. What am I talking about? But last year, I think it was 85% of the server and our audience reach were all females. We barely
Yeah.
had males in whatsoever. So I'm going through the CCC, which is the casting call site that we use for auditioning, and I'm like, okay, let me go to Captain Riggs. Nobody auditioned. Okay, let me go to Alexander Lesnick. Nobody auditioned. Let me go to the most of the smaller male characters. Nobody auditioned. Everyone named Oliver. Everyone
We were
named
begging
Disney.
people.
We were begging people. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
take the initiative. I'm going to be I am going to do this. I'm going to be Alexander Lesnick. I'm gonna be Janet. So I just did it, and I was like, okay, what voice would be best? And then I went to Natasha and I went to Pixie, and I was like, guys, janitor voice. Why don't I do Cookie from Atlantis? Make it southern, this deep, rough voice, and just sound perfect for it. And I wish I could do it. I can't do it on Q anymore because it's been so long since I practiced it. But man, as soon as I said southern and I said Cookie, Natasha was like, yes!
It's funny because it wasn't the kind of voice I expected or initially had in mind for the janitor, but the second he said, "Hey, who messed with my leaf pile?" I'm like, oh my gosh, this is perfect.
Yes.
I will point out.
Yes.
Oh,
It wasn't the
thank you.
it wasn't the janitor voice that we expected, but it was the one we needed. And the
I
one-
will point out that I freaked out because I'm the hugest fan of Disney's Atlantis that you will ever meet. I'm
It's
low-key
so
obsessed.
wonderful.
It's very, very good. Also, thank you for telling us that story, Silas, because it reminded me we have another voice actor here, and that is Zingdu. He was Alexander Lesnick, everybody.
And
Oh,
probably
Alexander
Silver.
Lesnick.
Yeah.
Probably James
And is
Silver as
also-
well.
Everyone
Yeah.
else.
He's probably gonna be our Silver as well. He's very he's
so
very
good.
Silver.
Ah.
Alrighty, cool. So Zingdu, do you want to say a few words before we move on? Or
Ooh, you should say it in the
okay.
high-pitched voice.
I'm sorry?
Say it in the high voice. The
Your Cassie
Cassie, the
Sure.
Cassie voice.
Let's go back a few years. Let's see. No, he's gone now.
Nope.
I came across the Space Boy webcomic just, doing some internet browsing. Then I inadvertently read it up till 6 a.m. in the morning. Not quite what I meant to do. This was,
As opposed to
before the
6 a.m.
homecoming stuff had happened. So, then, later, read it kind of regularly. I found that the Space Corps didn't really say much in there, but, I kind of happened to look at the announcements section at one point, and it says something about this, a dope for the webcomic, so, kind of stewed on that for a little bit. And then I just, kind of went on like, let's go ahead and try this. Let's see it get this a while. And,
Okay.
now
This is
I'm
why
voicing
you
Husky.
think you is the cloud of our server. We can't lie when he does something like this.
Pinky, are you thundering what I'm thundering?
Oh my gosh.
Alright.
There was this one table reading where he did what? Did you do Cassie or did you do Amy?
No, Natasha did David and Zingdu did Cassie. So it was the wrong place.
Yeah.
We have that video
Yeah,
somewhere,
it was
but
wonderful.
we'll work on posting it one of these days for you.
I
She
put
was
it
actually
in
there.
the
Zingdu also records
Theater
everything,
thing.
so.
Yes.
Alright, Are we ready for our
Yeah.
next question finally?
I think
Yes.
so, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Mink asks, do you do anything specific to get into character before recording? Hannah, you go first.
Wait, what was the question again?
Do you do anything specific to get into character before recording?
It's helpful for me to listen to and like watch previous episodes because that way I can make sure that my Amy voice is consistent. Because my Amy voice is kind of more in my higher register, and there are times when I'm like tired, or if I haven't warmed up, my voice will tend to like go lower where it's at right now. So listening to like rewatching previous episodes or listening to previous recordings or previous takes is helpful because it kind of reminds me like, oh yeah, this is the register I need to be in. So yeah.
Yeet. All right. Dill, what about you?
I guess for me, I usually just kind of read whatever I'm about to record. I read the episode a couple of times and then kind of say it and like figure out what sounds right. And Oliver's voice, like, it's very similar to my voice, but I guess it just make it like more like quieter and breathier and more distinct.
Yeah.
It's like,
The moody
yeah,
broodiness.
for the most part, I just like read it a couple times and see what sounds good. Yes. And then I also have a lot of water with me. It's important to have water when you're voice acting because you get dehydrated easily.
Hydro homies.
Hydrate before you dehydrate. All right. Eli, what about you? Do you have something to get your voice into character?
I don't warm up. I should. I really should.
You're gonna just go straight into it.
Yeah, I kind of just go right into it. What I should do and what I've been told to do by the bosses is I have to get like lemon water or something and like drink lukewarm lemon water while I'm doing the audition. But so I usually don't. But what else do I do? I practice the voice cracks a couple times because sometimes it'll be a little how do you call it, unreliable. Like it'll sound a little weird than how I wanted it. So I'll do each recording maybe a good 5 or so times and send in the best one to at least to me. I try to limit myself at 5 recordings because if I let myself go past that, it will go like to 20 or some shit.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Sorry.
100.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, Zeph is my regular voice. Maybe possibly pitched a little higher. It's just because I'm that happens to me like naturally when I'm energetic. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Cool. All right, Flacco, what about you?
Yeah, I kind of do a similar thing to what Eli does. I'll look at the episode that I'm about to read for, kind of look at the surrounding context just to see like, okay, if I were reading this in my head, what would the pace of the conversation be like? How would the speed be like? What would the like elevation of the volume be like? Because it can be different and like difficult to know like what exactly it is just going in blind. Something that I've learned and observed is that like everybody's family like communicates at different levels of like speaking. So like if I'm gonna be talking as Amy's dad to Amy, I gotta like look at the conversation and see like, okay, well what kind of volume are they gonna be speaking at? Like right next to each other, or are they gonna just be like out and shouting like all night to young Midoriya or something?
Yeah.
Welcome to UA, Amy. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, hello, Amy.
He's really good at it. Oh my gosh. Now I need like
Eli.
save that idea for the gag reel of Flacco reading his All Might, Eli reading his Deku, I swear.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I like that. That'd be funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, Nat, what's your routine? Do you do anything to get into character?
So, I don't really do anything special to get into character. because Cassie's voice is basically my voice. I mean, it's not my voice when I talk to my husband, because if my husband walks in during this Q&A, you'll hear me like, "Hi, Lily, how are you? How was work?" I have a husband voice.
Because you guys are adorable.
Yeah, we are. But anyway.
Yeah, I say that to my husband too.
But anyway, for Cassie though, it's just kind of my regular voice. I mean, it's kind of a certain mood of my regular voice, like, you know, my sassy voice. But one thing I do to like try and make sure that I'm in character, that I'm fitting, is I actually don't use a script or anything. I just read straight from the actual comic, and so seeing that helps me to understand the context of the mood, see her facial expression, and also when I do my recordings, I'll record like 3 to 5-ish takes, and then I'll re-listen to my recording while reading the comic to see if it fits. And so if something doesn't quite match the face, then I'll like redo it. But yeah, I do that for all the dubs I'm in. So I actually, like, this is my first experience voice acting, was this dub, but now I'm in 5 different dubs, and that's what I do for all of them. Is I just read straight from
Once
the
you get a little
comic.
taste, it's like, I want to get more of this.
Right? I was just like, this is fun.
Nice.
Yeah, right? Like, no, voice acting Undertale content is what got me into acting in general.
Oh. Wait, which characters?
So cool.
Which
Asriel.
Yes, Undertale.
I can totally hear you as Asriel in my heart.
It was before my voice had gotten deeper, so I was still like in that prepubescent kind of voice, and that's how I got casted like instantly with my friends as Asriel. That was fun.
Oh my gosh, my heart.
Awesome.
You are always going to play cinnamon rolls, and I can never see you playing someone that is not a cinnamon roll, because
I consider them all chats.
you are a cinnamon roll.
That's
So,
unfortunate because I think he wants to play a sandwich at some point.
well, too bad.
I appreciate it, so thank you.
Alright, well, now that my co-host is here, if y'all feel satisfied, my co-host Silas will take over with the next question. You have the floor, good sir.
Hello. Okay,
Hello.
so we are going to continue our YouTube questions that I gleaned from you wonderful people out in the internet world. So I am Leville, which almost sounds like Cruella DeVille. I'm sorry. Awesome nickname, by the way, if you do watch this. It's really cool. They asked, how did you find the webtoons? Via friend, or maybe appeared in the recommendation part of the site? So we're going to start with Mr. Dill. How did you find Space Boy?
Oh, okay. Well, this was the first webtoon that I read. It's because this was a couple years ago. I think 2019 was I gave up for Lent. I gave up YouTube because I was too addicted to YouTube, and so I was like, well, now I need to find like more ways to get content from the internet. So I checked out webtoon, and I was like, let's see what webtoon has to offer. And then I saw Space Boy looked like the most interesting one to me because I like space, and also I like the art style of it. And then, and this was, I think I got into it when it just finished the Arno arc and it was getting to Amy going into the FCP. And so I like read the whole thing in like 2 days because it was just insane. And so, it was really great. So I'm definitely glad that I did do that. So, great comic.
Hi. So, Mr. Eli, how did you find Space Boy?
I had actually just downloaded Webtoon because like I'd seen so many promos on YouTube. I know a couple of my buddies, they actually voice over Webtoons as well. Like they get the whole sponsorship thing. And I was like, wow, I want to get into this and hopefully maybe get sponsored one day, And I downloaded it, I set up my profile, and there was 2 comics that caught my eye. Space Boy was the first one because the art style looked really awesome, and like Dill said, space is awesome. So, and then the other one that caught my eye was, I don't know if you guys have heard this one, A Room of Swords.
Yes!
Oh,
dude.
These were the first 2 webtoons I ever read, dude.
Room of Swords also like they have animation and music in there too, and I'm like, wow.
It's
I really-
kind of like
Yeah,
if
it's crazy.
Space Boy is like my shoujo, more slice of life anime.
Yeah,
Room of
yeah,
Swords
yeah.
is more like the shonen one. that I
Yes,
follow,
dude.
if I'm using
Ah.
those terms correctly.
Out of the two, I was trying to debate which one to voice over first, and I was like, look, okay, I would love to do Room of Swords, but Room of Swords, I have no idea how to get those animated clips onto YouTube. Oh, that one would be so much fun. There's supposed to be a fan game that I actually got casted as Gyrus for, but that never saw the light of day, so I don't know where
It would
that's at
be
anymore.
very interesting, Gyrus. Ooh.
Dude, that'd be fun. That'd be so fun. But we'll see eventually.
Yes.
But then I just binged Space Boy. Like that, and it was 3 years in the running already. I binged the entire thing within 2 days, and I was very happy. That's how I spent 2 days of my summer vacation.
All right.
Beautiful.
So, Miss Natasha,
Yes.
a little birdie told me that you work for McCraney Senpai. So how
Yeah.
did you
Find Space Boy.
And then how did you meet Mr. McCraney? You get an extra question because you're Senpai's employee.
Sounds good. So my friend Camille actually introduced me to Space Boy. So I found webcomics quite by accident. I was searching some stuff on self-publishing and I found Tapas. And so I started reading some webcomics there. And when I mentioned to a friend of mine that I was reading webcomics, she was like, oh, you need to read Space Boy and A Budgie's Life. And so I downloaded Webtoon and started reading both of those. So Space Boy was like one of my first Webtoons. And I, of course, fell in love with it. I got caught up with it right, like, as he was doing the Little Amy episodes between the Homecoming arc and the Arno arc. So I got in right before the Arno arc started. This is back in 2017. The Arno arc. Pain.
Time to get caught up.
But yeah, so at the
17
time
as a
though,
freshman.
yeah. But at the time though, I was studying illustration at BYU, and one of the things that they do for those who are in the program is you get the opportunity to do an internship. That's one of the classes you can take to graduate. And basically how they do it is it's like Make-A-Wish Foundation or something. Like you mention a creator that you want to intern with, and they'll try and help make it happen. And so I had a couple, I mean, like, it depends on the creator. The creator gets to say yes or no ultimately. So it's like, it's not like you get to audition, you get to intern with Glenn Keane if you want to. But I had a few that I was looking at. I did consider that. I had a few I was looking at. I was actually aiming to intern with Jake Parker, but I had sent him an email, and when he responded, he was like, yeah, no, I'm not looking for an intern right now. And that kind of turned me off a little bit, and the other person I was thinking of was Stephen McCraney. And so when it came time to do my internship, I was like, I sent him an email, and I was trying to be assertive, just be like, hey, you know, I would appreciate the opportunity. I have decided on you as the person I'd like to intern with. You know, this is how I see it going. Like, but basically, the way he read it is me sending an email saying, hey, I'm going to come intern with you. And I was like, apparently I intimidated him enough.
Demanded it.
But yeah, so I was his first intern. I actually moved down to Albuquerque for 3 months with my friend Elena. And she was just there to be my roommate, but she ended up kind of doing the internship too because his colorist had to take a break for the summer. And so she ended up doing plots for the summer, and I was doing backgrounds. And then that was it. The internship ended. But then a couple months later, he texted me and was like, hey, would you like to continue on doing backgrounds? It was right after the episode where Silver is like getting stuff set up at the lighthouse. And do you remember he went on hiatus?
that was a good one.
Yeah, he went on hiatus right after that, and I remember looking at it and seeing like the lighthouse and being like, yeah, I can see why you would want someone to be doing the backgrounds for you, because dang, that lighthouse is complicated. I've done it, and it's Now my friend Eli does backgrounds, and I do colorist work. And
Another
then,
Eli, not this one.
Yeah, different
I was
Eli.
like, whoa, I don't know how to draw.
Whoa.
Whoa. I can draw a stick figure for Mr. McCraney. Does he like that?
Do it. You love it.
You can draw anytime anything Amy tries to doodle.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Continue, Natasha.
Okay,
But
yeah,
yeah.
Silas.
So yeah, but in the past few months, there has been a constant stream of interns, and the last 2 interns, actually, the one that right now and the next one, both emailed him for unrelated reasons, and he was like, "Hey, do you want an internship?" So I think he really likes having interns now. So if anyone is
Aww.
wanting to intern with Mr. McCraney, like, he's trying to line up interns to always have one. So send him an email. Seriously, he loves
I
having.
mean, it's a win-win. He gets help with the comic, and they get help with their careers. So, you know.
Exactly. And we've got a Discord community that we're slowly building. Every time we get a new intern, we add them to the Discord.
Oh, cool.
That's so cool.
Fascinating.
All right.
So-
So.
Can I just say?
Oh,
Can I
yes.
just say that you intimidating him into accepting you as an intern is totally such a Cassie thing to do.
It is.
Such a
It
Cassie
is.
move.
Yeah.
Literally. I love it. I love it so much.
I should have emailed him. I tried tweeting him to get voice over the first comic. But
Yeah,
that didn't work
email's
out. He
the
never
best way.
responded, and I was like, oh man.
Email is the best way to get a hold of him. He kind of avoids.
Big brain.
Alright, Silas, what were you gonna say?
That's definitely in hindsight where, you know, one thing I've learned about Mr. McCraney, he does avoid social media, and that I kind of agree with him on that, because Discord is really the only place that I interact the most with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe Instagram, because you know you get all those cool artists, and you know, but everyone goes on your page because you just find this random picture and they're like, oh my gosh, I love your profile. Are you gonna do more like that? And I'm like, it's just a random Google picture. You can go and find it. Anyways, the second
Hey
thing I learned
Silas,
about Mr.
you're
McCraney
really
is-
quiet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna have this right here. Do you hear me?
There we go.
There
Yes,
you go.
yes.
Keep
All
it
right.
there, buddy.
So, the next thing I learned about Mr. McCraney is he's very mellow. Like
He is.
last year in April, when I was this meek little kid just going up and being terrified to DM Pixie because I wanted to volunteer as a moderator, I was terrified of Pixie. So when Pixie was like, Silas, I need your help sending an email to Mr. McCraney, I'm like, are we talking to Leonardo DiCaprio right now? Are we on a different plane of existence? I was like, it was a moment of euphoria and terror. The first time I had to help Pixie write an email to Mr. McCraney, I literally was up and down. My heart was anxiety. My hands were shaking.
Yeah.
I felt like I was talking to someone from Hollywood.
You are now messaging God.
Honestly,
He's the god of
that's
this
how-
realm.
It kind of gives you the same feeling as when you're like emailing one of your teachers about something and you try really hard to, you know, make it look all nice, using proper grammar, pulling out all the stops, and then they go back, okay, sounds cool, thumbs up emoji. you just kind of like die a little on the
You know, and when Mr. McCraney came back, he's like, yeah, of course, exactly. He was very, like, you know, enthusiastic. And, you know, I don't want to say he used informal, you know, form of communication.
He
like,
can
very
be
casual.
however informal he wants to be. I don't care.
So, I'm not saying that he was like that. He was just very casual in his email. And I'm like, I was nervous. Why am I nervous? But then the night happened where the dub was launched and he came onto the server.
Oh my gosh, we all
gosh.
flipped.
Dude, I missed it. I missed when Mr. McCraney was there.
Oh.
Oh man.
We still have all the
Same.
messages pinned.
Man,
But yeah, anyways.
They're framed on the
fanboyed.
wall.
I fanboyed when he watched our first trailer, dude.
Yes. Anyways, so did anyone else want to answer that question about how they found the webtoon? I found it because a friend of mine recommended it to me. I'd never really been interested in web comics all that much before, but she came to school with like a pin that she made of like Amy or something. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. She's like, yeah, it's from Space Boy. Oh yeah, she's a very crafty person. She's like, oh yeah, it's from Space Boy. I'm like, what the French toast sticks is the Space Boy? So she goes on and on about it, and I'm like, I don't know, just because I had been one of those people that constantly gets advertised webtoons for, but they're all the kind of web comics that do not interest me. Let's put it that way. So
Romantic
that was
I get
the
you.
only idea I had as to what web comics were. And she's like, no, that's really good, I swear. And she was right. I couldn't binge read it over 2 nights like most of y'all did, just because I was like in the heat of high school senior year. So I just didn't have the time or mental energy to spare. So I like caught up over like the course of a week. But that's my story of how I found it.
I feel like Zingdu and I already kind of talked about how we found Space Boy. Like, I found it because of the dub and because of Aaron's enthusiasm for it. And Zingdu apparently found it. in
Browsing the interwebs.
Yeah,
I just got
yeah.
it randomly.
Yeah.
I found it
Interwebs.
because my girlfriend recommended it to me. We were dating long distance at the time. This was actually before we were dating, but we were friends but long distance friends. And this was something that we really looked forward to reading together every week. At some point, though, I
Aw.
broke down and binged it, a lot of it,
Ooh,
and I regret doing so.
you broke me out. How
I
could
broke
you?
it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Duchess. I know you're watching this. I'm sorry I read ahead. But we still to this day keep up that tradition of reading the new updates when they come out every.
By the way,
Aw.
Flacco and Duchess are literally the cutest couple in the dub. They are adorable, and I love them.
Mhm.
You are my beans, and I just love you so much.
Aside
way,
from
Duchess,
Willie and I,
shout
of
out.
course.
Oh.
Aside from
Shout out
Willie
to
and I, of
Duchess of
course, and Dylan
Mandalore.
Eli's bromance.
That's right. Yes.
Of course.
Shout out to Duchess of Candelore. Go check out her Instagram. She
Yes,
is awesome. She's
she's
posting
an
a bunch of cool stuff.
amazing,
She's
amazing
one of
done
our-
artist.
most of
She's
done work
very
on a lot of the like thumbnails for the series.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
does. She and Chewy Dewey do the thumbnails for all the episodes, and I believe Karate is the one who drew the beautiful thumbnail for the Q&A. But Duchess also does a lot of the album art. She's like one of the key members in the server. She's always ready to help people out with anything, and is an amazing artist. Go check out her Instagram at Duchess of Handalore, right?
Yes.
She does commissions. She does commissions. So
And they're
go
beautiful.
give her money.
Yeah.
I go give her money.
Natasha also does commissions right now.
Oh, yeah.
Question.
Temporarily.
I on the stream, I'm like pinned in like the big thing. I don't know
sorry.
if that's
That
because
was-
I'm not
that was an
talking.
accident.
Help. I feel very awkward because all of my ADHD fidgets are being blasted across the internet.
No, I was
Okay, are we ready for the
ADHD and
next
forgot that I pinned that.
Okay.
Are we ready for the next question?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Aye.
Alaska is confused. Asks, is there another VA that you really like to interact with during readings? Maybe you feel like you bounce off each other really well, or you just have a lot of respect for the way someone carries a scene. Which also, shout out to Alaska, because I believe that is AK, also known as our Tamara, aka Tammy. So, woo! Which will be revealed in the next episode, by the way.
Yeah.
We can see her and
Yeah.
shake her.
She's
Oh my
so
gosh.
perfect.
She's so
Back to the
perfect.
question.
Okay.
Back to the question. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I
Hannah,
what-
you can go first.
What was the question?
okay, yeah.
Is there a person? Is there a
Spaced out.
particular VA that you really like to interact with during readings? That you bounce off really well, or you just really respect them? Stuff like that.
All of them.
Yeah.
That's my answer. Like we
Okay.
all have, like everyone has such good chemistry with each other. It's so easy to work with you guys, and this is like
Uh-huh.
the first cast I've been in, like one of the first casts I've been in that hasn't had any drama. We've no one, no
Oh
one's,
my God,
like
that
really
is-
arrogant, or like everyone is really teachable. Everyone takes direction really well. We're all really respectful of each other. Like I have so much respect for you guys. Thank you for being an
Yes.
amazing cast.
Dude,
I love
yeah.
you.
I 100% agree with that, man. In the 2 years that I was in theater, those were some of the craziest, like, dramatic-filled people I've ever been with.
They put
And
the drama in drama.
Yeah, and I know I'm gonna encounter more because I'm majoring in theater right now.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
oh man, I'm so happy to see this because one, on like the theater side of things, everyone's super nice. We're able to bounce off each other really well after having we met each other once, like during the beginning and when we were in beginning stages, and we just
Yeah.
started blossoming from there, and that's a really awesome thing to have. And then on like the comic dub side of things, this is the first comic dub team that I've been a part of where we actually interact with each other. Every other one that I've been a part of, and this is a very popular way to do these, they just have a channel where you send your voice recordings, and that's it. You never talk to anybody. And, you know, that just,
Like,
that's
what if
just
there's
so
anything
weird.
wrong with that? If that's
I mean, like-
efficient and that's what you have the resources to do, then
It's efficient. It's efficient in the sense where, like, you know, a lot of these comic dub channels like to go by the YouTube thing of like being as fast as possible with all the videos they get. But you know, you gotta have love for the craft. You know, have love for everybody that's going in it.
Chemistry with each
The
other.
yes, the chemistry really works out, and we have a lot of fun doing the table reads. I love doing those.
Yes. Oh my gosh, the table
Yeah.
readings readings are great
They're
because
like
we're
one of the
able to
highlights of
really,
my week.
Yeah.
with table readings, we're able to really see what Pixie's vision is and how we can bring that to life, and it's just a lot of fun.
It's
And
exciting
all of
and
our great
nerve-wracking.
bloopers are going to be so much
Oh,
fun
yeah.
for you guys to see.
I need to save those, dude. I delete them because I get embarrassed.
No,
Keep
keep
them,
them.
please. Dylan, I love your bloopers so much. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. The
Blooper
number
reels
one
are coming, guys. They're coming.
Yes.
All right. Flacco, Dylan, and Nat, what about you guys? Anyone you bounce off really well?
I like to work with Zingdu.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
always
So
in the
fun.
table
Yeah.
reads. He hasn't done. Lesnick hasn't been in a like with a vocal role since like the very first couple of episodes.
But
But
the
he's
table readings are open for pretty much any voice actor to come in and just tune into what we're doing if they want to. And because of that, Zingdu basically comes to all the table readings. He doesn't have to, but he does, and we are very thankful for it because he's the one we call on whenever someone is gone.
Yeah.
So like, okay, Zingdu, this person's missing. Can you fill in for them, please?
It's
and
good.
he
They are
It's
always
good
does, like, a
preparation.
comedic spin.
He
It's
also
good
does all the
preparation for
sound
your
effects.
own. It's good preparation for your own character when it's time for them to come up to the plate.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
We'll see
Yeah.
when Lesnick does
So-
anything next, huh?
So
Yeah.
Flacco, what are some reasons why you bounce off of Zingdu really well and enjoy doing table readings with him?
I don't know. He likes to ad lib and like mess with the script at times.
Yes.
He'll just do stuff in like really high pitched voices, and it just brings such a smile to my face. Table reads can go
Yes.
for a pretty long time. I know that this isn't really all that relatable to like Clana or pretty much just Clana, but like the rest of us, like you can go for like 2 or 3 episodes at a table reading and like have like 1 or 2 lines in like 1 or 2 of the episodes. So like seeing Zingdu interact in the chat and like fill in for the characters who aren't there, the actors who aren't there with like amazing voices, he's just really fun to work with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nat, what about
I thought you were
you?
gonna say I was really bouncy, but that works too.
Having never met you in real life, I would not know.
Oh man.
Bounces him like a basketball. Okay. Nat, what about you?
I mostly bounce off of like Flacco and Clana because Cassie mostly interacts with David and Amy. And so, and of course, I enjoy both of those a ton. Especially arguing with David is fun.
Yes.
Yes.
I do.
And meanwhile, Duchess is like trying to restrain herself off in the corner.
Oh, man. No, yeah, Duchess like has joked with me that she's really excited for Cassie and David to break up.
Ah!
That's Flacco's
Ouch.
girlfriend.
Okay,
Ouch.
have my boyfriend back.
That's fun.
But I
Legitimately,
actually
my favorite
really
scene
like.
is where we break up. It's great.
It's
Yeah.
fun. That's gonna be fun. Yeah, I also really like interacting with Eli though, and I think that's mostly just because Zeph is my favorite character, and his voice is so perfect for Zeph. It just makes me
Yes.
happy so much.
Yes.
Thank you guys. I'm gonna cry.
Aw.
And of course,
Wow.
Zingdu is a riot. Doing the
I gotta
Cassie
save the
David
I gotta
thing
save the
with
tears for a
Zingdu.
later chapter.
Duchess in the chat just chanted, "Break up, break."
Let's see you break apart. Let's see that drama. Let's do it right now.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Silas, do you want to read the next question from Yellow
Yes,
Gecko?
ma'am. I would love. Oh my gosh. Yellow
This one's
Gecko.
an interesting one.
Yellow Gecko, my
Okay.
friend. Before I say your question, I must applaud you for your amazing username.
Yes.
And I apologize. I apologize this for 2 things. One, I thought about the Geico Gecko. So I thought you were British for a second there. And then I thought of Jack the Ripper from Black Clover. If anyone's an anime fan.
Oh.
If anyone's an anime fan, just you know who this Yellow Gecko, you brought very much joy with your username. Shout out to you. Thank you for making me smile. But here is your question. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
How did you guys manage to get the voice so perfect for characters that we've never heard? Were there alternative versions, or are you using the ones you've always had? And we're going to start with Kalana this time. Go.
Well, it's in my brain, and my my brain tells my mouth, "Hey, do this," and my mouth is like, "Okay,"
It's in my genes.
and then I speak. Yeah, it's in my genes in the back, you know. But no, I mean, like, I guess I had because auditioning for all of the characters, you know, like you get to try out a bunch of different voices. But the voice that I had for Amy was just the one that was in my head, and so it felt right to me, and it sounded right to me, and I think I tried to make it really high at first and realized that wasn't sustainable if I were to get cast. So I went with a slightly lower, less peppy version. It's hard to rein in the peppiness with Amy because she's such a bright, bouncy, happy, sparkly character, you know.
Channeling the right amount of peppiness at the right moments, you know.
Yes. So I would say when I first recorded my audition for her, I was really really high pitched, not like squeaky, but higher than what I decided to go with. But yeah. Whoever's next, go. I'm done.
So I've read in the comics. I've been like the snooper that goes on every episode and just sweeps through the comments and see what it says.
Same.
And the two most famous voice actors is our very own Flacco and Dill for very opposite reasons, and it's kind of funny.
Okay.
Because Dill, everyone's like, man, look at that bad boy broody voice, man, he sounds so great. And then we have Mr. McCready himself comparing our Flacco to a model, and it is absolutely a riot. So
I remember that.
Please
And
clarify.
what's really funny is Eli, aren't you like a professional model on the side or something? I thought I heard something like someone was a model.
I'm a model, obviously.
No. I appreciate it, but I don't know. I don't think I can pass for a model.
I just when I heard someone say they were a
I
model.
thought you did some modeling, Eli. I thought you said that once.
Yeah.
No, I
I've
said
heard
one of
you
my.
say that
I'm
once
pretty sure
too.
one of my friends. I like talking about a lot of people that I met on the job. One of my friends is really good at ad modeling. He got a modeling gig for Samsung headphones, and I was like, whoa, all right. He's in
Nice.
Germany somewhere, but
He's in Germany, so
I dig it.
you
Stop
know.
that seed of misinformation before it gets any farther, because that would have been the perfect instance of dramatic irony. But oh well.
Yeah, I've definitely been
Anyway,
spreading that. I've been spreading rumors that Eli is a model. Sorry.
I mean, I'll take it as a compliment, right? No,
Just say
Anyway,
yes.
Dill.
Yes, I am.
Bill, what's the story
Right, yeah.
behind your voice for Oliver?
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
is it
I mean-
really that deep brooding, dare I say,
I cannot
sexy
wait
voice
until
that
the
they
day where he
cannot
can
see?
come out of his shell, because oh my
Yeah.
gosh, he captures the full spectrum of Oliver's personality
Okay.
so perfectly.
Just wait till you hear him laugh.
No.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
well, like
His
with,
laugh.
with Oliver, it's just like for the most part, I feel like my voice suits him well, but it's really hard to figure out what tone I'm supposed to be using because there's sometimes when he's like very serious and like very like disconnected from reality. So it's just like in his own nothing zone, whatever. And I want to make it sound like, you know, kind of robotic, but not too much because he's still a person, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really hard to find that middle ground. And that's something that I struggled with in my initial audition and stuff. But eventually I got better at finding that. And then later when he opens up and he's like more like open with his emotions and stuff, then like that becomes more easy because I know like how I'm supposed to voice that. Really with Oliver, the hardest parts to voice are actually just the ones when he's having a regular conversation. Like most recently, I had to record lines for episode 38, which is just Oliver and Amy having a conversation at the cafe, and that was really hard for me because I didn't know exactly how to do that, and I ended up sending like multiple takes for like almost all the lines. But then, and I think I still have to redo some, and I'm gonna send them soon. So yeah.
Just a couple.
Yeah. But yeah, with Oliver, like I said, for the most part, it's just like my own voice, but I really need to figure out the balance between how much emotion I'm supposed to be showing. And it varies from episode to episode. That's
And that
the thing.
was a big reason why you got cast for the part, if I recall correctly, was because you were able to have that lack of emotion without sounding flat.
Yes,
Which is
there's
very
a difference
challenging.
between monotone and flat.
Yes.
It's a hard
me tell you
difference to get, but there is one.
Yeah.
Fine line.
One makes you want to fall asleep when you hear it, the other does not.
Yes.
When I was in the casting directors and we were on the decision board last year,
Yeah.
I have a habit of coining a lot of new terms on the dub, like dubisode,
Okay.
Yes.
a lot of new words. And so one thing that I constantly was like pretty much ranting at all the auditioners is like, where is your emotionlessness? I want that emotionlessness where you are just completely dead, but you don't sound dead. I want that so much. And then everyone's like, this is like everyone, you know, like that scene in anime where everyone's blank and they have like these round eyes and just looking
Oh
at
yeah.
you.
This is
That's
like,
everyone in the room. They're like, what do you mean emotionlessness? And then Dill, he heard that and it was just like a click. The second time we were doing auditions, he was in the second round. He clicked, and
Yes.
Natasha and Pixie.
He grew
we were
so
like,
much in the audition process. It was amazing to see.
we had a euphoria. We were like, hello, hi, how are you?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Flacco,
Real quick.
Mr. McCreaney called you a model, and he had, you know, he enjoyed your voice and how smooth and rich it is. Can I ask you for public again, because I know the answer? Have you ever done any voice acting before this dub? And where
He's
did you
actually
get
already
this
answered
voice
that.
from?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've done a little tiny bit
Yeah.
back in like
But,
5th
like,
and 6th grade, but
it's-
not very much.
Yeah, but like, is there any like, how did you choose your David voice, basically?
So for the David voice, all the voices that for the characters that I auditioned for, I had actually had like established in my head already. As I said, Duchess and I had been like reading the comic together for a good long time at that point. At the point of auditions, so like I would read like most of the guy parts, she would read for like Amy,
Yeah.
and we would just go back and forth. So the voices there were already established in my head.
Cool.
The voice that you hear for David now is just like a slightly more emotional form of the voice that I tried doing for Oliver, I think, or maybe it's the other way around. When I tried out for David, I thought like, okay, what's it say in like the description that I think Pixie wrote up on the casting call club? David's like supportive. He wants to avoid conflict, but he's also like very friendly and helpful. Like, oh, I can do that. I can sound helpful. Like I'm reading you some instructions on like a podcast or yeah. So that was really cool.
Cool.
I just took my
and then
normal voice and kind of pitch shifted it down a little bit and acted like I'm on the radio.
Cool.
There you go.
And Eli, I know you kind of already answered this one earlier when we were talking about auditions, but did you want to elaborate any more on how you do your Zeph voice?
Oh, excuse me. Well, usually, when it comes to
He is Zeph.
yeah, I basically am Zeph. Whenever it comes to like roles or lines, what I try to do is I try to like envision a time where I said this exact thing. And with Zeph, I said a lot of these exact things. Especially with him, a lot of situations he's gone through, I felt that like hardcore. So I just try and envision that time, and I try to amplify that when I'm recording. And that's pretty much it. Zeph's probably the easiest character I've ever voice acted before because he's the only person I really pitch my voice higher for, lower, raspy, whatever. Just besides the voice cracks, he's just my natural kind of voice.
I would like to add to this question. I think it would be really interesting to hear about like kind of the challenges that were presented in the casting process because you guys, the decision board and the director, are the reason why the dub has the voices that it has.
Yeah.
And
I was
why,
going to talk about that when it got to my turn.
Yeah.
If it's cool, I have like a couple points on it because it's like we all have our own head voice, and it sounds like we have pretty similar voices in our head of how these characters sound for the most part. You know, they're all a little different. But I think maybe one thing that kind of helps to like define how someone might sound when you see a picture of them, and at least in terms of art, is, you know, smaller things tend to have like higher pitched sounds, bigger things tend to have like larger sounds. So when you look at a character, for instance, Amy, she has a relatively small, very nimble frame and everything. She's young, so okay, a voice that's lighter and a little bit younger sounding, whereas someone with like Cassie, she's a bit taller, a bit broader, so she'd have a bit of a broader voice, more of an
Did you just call me
alto.
fat?
No.
You're eating pizza.
I swear. And then like, I don't know, a character like Langley, he's very round, so, and also older, so he would have, you know, kind of a deeper, maybe a bit of a raspy older voice or something, depending on your interpretation. David, very broad-chinned, broad-shouldered, but still young. So like the way they look kind of communicates to you like what sounds match with certain sizes and shapes. At least that's kind of how it works for me. So I would try and designate in the character descriptions what kind of range I would hear it in. Like, okay, Amy's in the soprano range, Cassie I hear as more of an alto, David's kind of in the alto tenor region, you know, just kind of go to, you know, choir terms just because that's what I know. And that's
It's not
kind of
necessarily
how
wrong.
I tried to, and that's more just a basic guideline. Sometimes we'll hear a voice that doesn't fit that description, but still matches the character really well. So, but that's kind of generally how I feel like, found a lot of the voices that we use. I don't know, Nat, did you want to add anything to that? Sorry, I kind of stole the floor.
Yeah, there's not really hard and fast rules to it, but having the like decision board, I think, was one of the biggest differences. Like, that's something that I've gone on to implement in multiple different dubs that I've worked in, is I try and like have a group of 3 to 4 people, maybe 5, but you want to have at least 3 per meeting, and you just listen to them. One of the things that really helps is just listening to the voice while looking at the character, or especially while reading that part of the comic, because your brain can tell if it works or not. You know, you have your own experience hearing voices come from certain faces, and you use your instincts based off of that. But also having multiple people to give their opinions on that really helps, because the more like people you have like contributing their opinions and their expertise, the easier it is to find like the right voices. And
get people you can trust, whose opinions you trust, and then all kind of try and find something you all agree on, debate back and forth, and just until you can all agree, yes, this is the right person, you know?
Yeah, and it especially, like, it really helps to have people who aren't afraid to voice their opinions, because one of the hard things in being a decision board is you have to tell people no. You have to admit when someone's audition kind of sucks, because sometimes the audition kind of sucks, and you gotta be bold enough to say that. I mean, you know, you don't have to say it to their face, but in a meeting, you want to be able to say exactly what you think and feel. And if something doesn't feel quite right, don't be afraid to stand up for it. Silas and Pixie here can tell you that there were some roles where I was very picky. I'm like, no, this is not right.
We've heads on a couple of occasions, not gonna lie.
I was very stubborn about Riggs. Like, it took forever for me to be okay.
Oh my gosh, Riggs.
Casting Riggs.
Oh, he was so hard to cast just because so few people auditioned for him and actually matched like his kind of range, like his character.
Oh, we are very grateful, Razor, and we can't wait for you to introduce him.
All right,
say
cool.
my brief little bit before we go on to the next question.
Yes, we gotta move.
So, yeah, my brief little bit is, in my humblest opinion, when we started the decision board, it had 5 people, and I think it has 4 people still on it now.
It dropped down to 4 people when
I
Welsh
never
had
vied to be on the decision board, on the casting directors. I never wanted that. But then one time I just went to the CCC and I just started listening and I started taking notes, you know, voluntarily just taking notes of my personal opinion. And I was like, okay, well, you know, as a moderator, I'm just going to, you know, be nice enough. And I still have my journal. I literally have my Space Boy auditioner notebook and it's on my shelf, and I keep it. And I literally went to the library, I scanned all of them, and I DM'd them to Pixie, and I was like, these are my notes of all the people I think so far. And she read them and is like, would you like to be on this newly made decision board? And I was like, yeah, sure, okay, I can do that. So with me, I feel like Pixie was the one with the vision, Cassie was the one with integration, and me, it was the person themselves when it came to the voice actors.
You were really good at helping them get in the zone of the character.
What I would do as a member of the decision board is I would go to these individual people and I was like, okay, I want you to imagine your best friend right now. Your best friend who you've dated for a couple of days now, or a couple of months now, is automatically telling you that he wants to stop. He's depressed, he's sad, he feels like you're a burden, and he's unleashing all these emotions. And when I told that to the Cassies, they're like, they all felt it. It really hit them and impacted them. So
I feel like you're a burden.
Big oop.
My
Alright.
method of casting directing was always getting the voice actors into that moment. You are
Mhm.
Cassie. You are Amy. This is happening to you in real life.
Yeah.
What would you actually do? How would you actually respond? And reciprocate that. I wanted to go with the natural route as possible. And man, I was a slave driver when it came to tone, when it came to pitch, when it
Oh
came
man.
to, structure. I think out of the three of us, I think I might be Natasha in that because I was a slave driver. I wanted you to be as perfect as you can be. And that's how it was. And we balanced each other. And we had arguments. The Tamara incident.
Oh my
I felt
gosh,
Gemma said
Tammy.
it. There was
We all
arguments
had
amongst ourselves
completely
and
different
who
ideas as to how Tammy should sound. We could not agree on anything.
it took 3 days to decide AK as Tamara, and it took 5 callbacks to get us through that disaster zone. And the same was with the Gemma. I see your
Alright,
hand, Klana. What
yes.
is
Hi.
you
Well,
want
I
to say?
was going to add that when choosing the right voice, I think another thing to take into consideration is skill set. So if the character that you're casting for has a wide range of emotion, or like in Oliver's case, you need to have a kind of restraint when it comes to expressing emotion and make it very, very intentional when you do. It's really important to cast people that have the skill set to be able to pull it off, and that contributes a lot to them pulling off the character in a not sincere, in a genuine way. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So, just a heads up, we are reaching the 2-hour mark of the Q&A. So let's try and keep our future answers just a little bit brief, so that
Speed run
we can
time,
get through
speed
as many
run.
questions as possible.
Yes, lightning round. Let's
All right.
go.
Cool.
Okay.
I'll
So
make my
next
answers as
question.
short as possible.
Let's do
Next
this.
question. All right. Angel Linda May, I'm hoping I pronounced that right, asks, what impacted y'all the most from this comic?
The comic or the dub?
I don't know. May, if you are in the chat, feel free to specify further, but you can pick one or the other.
I think they're talking about the comic.
The comic
Yeah.
for me was the writing, just the way that he wrote the characters and the emotional journeys that they go through and the development they go through really related to a lot of that. And also the continuous theme of hope throughout it all.
Mhm.
Like Amy just
Yeah.
continuously being this shining beacon of hope, and when she's down, Oliver picks her up and just this message of like selfless love and support, Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I guess it was really the dynamic between Amy and Oliver, and they're just such different characters. They go really well together, and it's really amazing to see how they both change each other for the better. It's like a really interesting duo.
Yeah.
And then another thing that really spoke out to me when Oliver was talking to Dr. Kim about something, to Dr. Kim wanted him to lie to Amy, and he was like, no, I don't want to lie to Amy because lying, you force someone to live in an alternate reality. And when he said that, I was like, wait, that actually makes sense. Like
Yeah.
you're making someone believe something that's true. They're basically living in a reality that's completely separate. And I
That's
was
not
like,
accurate.
that really like changed my
False
perception.
reality. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's it for me.
That's awesome, yeah.
All right, Eli, what about you?
Oh, okay.
Eli
Okay.
first.
All right. Thank you. I'd say this is a hard question. Let me see. I'd say just the story itself, how real it felt in the beginning, and then the interesting sci-fi motifs that started going on. That's what started piquing my interest even more. And I wanted to see how they're gonna try and get Oliver home, or how are they gonna try to do this, that. And I'm just I was getting real into it, and I just couldn't stop once I kept reading it.
Yes.
That's basically it for me. How real the stories was, and then how interesting the sci-fi motifs there are.
Yes.
All right, Flacco, how about you?
For me, it was as I was reading it with Duchess, we would be reading an episode where Oliver and Amy are kind of talking to each other, either through the RFP or through voice chat later on down the line, and all of the self-care information and the wholesome relationships. Every relationship, even David and Cassie's relationship, while that one wasn't altogether healthy, the way that it was handled, I think was really admirable. So I
Yeah.
like the way that the relationships are written, and I really like all the self-care advice because I got to point out to Duchess and say like, "Hey, you should do this," but it wasn't 5 seconds before she could point out something that I needed to do and be like, "No, you should take care of yourself this way."
That's
And I'm just like,
funny.
it was a good
Nice.
experience. It's
That's
always a
so
good experience to read.
wholesome.
It is.
Mhm.
The comic
Alright,
is.
Nat.
Our relationship
how
also,
about
but
you?
the comic primarily.
For me, when I was reading the comic, I think what stood out to me first, like the first moment where I was like, wow, there's something more to this than just like, you know, a fascinating mystery with the Oliver and Homecoming and everything. But the thing that like really spoke out to me, like, wow, this is actually like a comic that's impactful and telling meaningful messages, was the scene where Amy and Cassie are talking after her and David's breakup, where Cassie is like saying, you know, that she hates herself and that she's failed and like, you know, beating down on herself for messing up this relationship. And Amy's like, hey, you know, it's an end, but this isn't the end for you. Like, I don't see you as a failure. I see you as my friend. And that stood out so much to me because I'm a perfectionist and I'm prone to beating up on myself and be like, I hate myself. I hate myself for doing this. Like, I ruined everything. I messed up. And like, I've gotten better and better at it over the years. But like, that's, you know, that's something that I've felt and something I relate to. And like, that really stood out to me because I was like, this is something that's really important to me and I feel like it needs to be said. And it meant so much to me that someone was saying it. And so that was the first time really that scene when I was reading the comic and I was like, this is like truly a masterpiece.
My heart.
I think for me it's just like a combination of everything you guys said. There's just so many layers to think, but another thing that really impacted me was just Stephen McCraney himself, the way he would interact with his audience at the end of every
that's so
chapter,
sweet.
always give them some sort of positive feedback or compliments, and just his character. And I had a hunch, but I had a hunch that maybe he was a Christian as well, and that also just really inspired me, who's just, you know, in the same boat as him, who loves Jesus very dearly and wants to kind of demonstrate the sheer amount of love that he has for us through the things that I make. So he was really inspiring to me just as a fellow creator and aspiring storyteller, just in who he is and the way he handles everything so tastefully, I think is the word.
Gracefully.
Yeah, so gracefully, and like especially that one episode he did where Oliver and Dr. Kim are talking about forgiveness. I'm like, ooh,
oh yes, that was
that
good.
hit me hard. Like there's just so many little moments like that where there's just such a light within this comic that I don't see in too many others. That's it doesn't downplay the darkness that occurs in life, but it never lets it become grimdark or depressing. You always come away from this comic with a feeling of encouragement or at the very least empathy and understanding about something. And that's something that's really powerful because any comic, any story can take you on an amazing adventure, but it's a rare few that can really resonate with you that deeply and really manage such a beautiful balance of so many things. So I don't know, that's something that I really love and has really impacted me as from the comic and as a fellow creator of things. And also it's inspired me to make my own comics someday, now that I know what this medium is capable of.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, so next question.
Oh wait, did Silas get to answer?
Yeah, Silas, did you want to say anything?
Well, I'll be very brief about it. What impacted the most with me on the comic? Oh, that's a very good question. There's 3 things that impacted to me, and 2 of you've already mentioned them. 1 is the wholesomeness, and 2 is what Pixie said. You know, it's so rare to see, you know, the morals of our Christianity exemplified in a world where it's not overly moral, like you have to be like legalistic
just
about
like,
it.
Christians good, non-Christians bad. I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
and so that's one thing I very much appreciated how like he wasn't legalistic about it, but he wasn't really watered down about it. He was just, he just took the
He's
morals that we
So
sincere.
were
real. Yeah,
and
he's so
he
sincere and authentic, and that's what we need.
and he brought it up so beautifully. And then the second
Mhm.
thing that I very much enjoyed that was the wholesomeness. It's just that
Mhm.
throughout the entire comic, there's always this sense of familiar bond, and
Warmth and
if I want to be completely honest, I never had friendships when I grew up. I never had people I could
Mhm.
talk to. Most of my family members lived 1,000 miles away from me, except for my mother and my grandmother. So I never really had, that childhood friend to grow up with, and I was always, the small little kid who just stayed inside his house, never really interacted with anyone. And so last year when COVID hit, and I was like, oh, this is just my normal. I wasn't really that impacted, and I joined this server in April, once after the pandemic really got swinging, and all of you guys have become so dear and close to me. You guys have been my closest friends, and you guys, through this project and through Space Boy, it really opened me up. It really showed me that there are like-minded people out there in the world. I just gotta get a shovel and dig for it, because all of you guys, the Claire sisters, Flacco's goofiness, Eli's cinnamon rollness, and Dill's just wonderful charm and happiness. It's just, and of course, we can't forget about Natasha. She's like
Yes.
the mom
She's
of
like-
our server.
Yes,
our
she's the
whole-
mom friend of the server.
I'm the mom friend of every group I'm in. Let's be real.
Yes.
Love
All
that.
right.
And then the third final thing that I love about it was how serious it was and how
Mm.
impactful it just strikes your heart. It's like it wasn't afraid to show PTSD. It wasn't afraid of anxiety attacks. It wasn't afraid of, Oliver, who I resonated so deeply, a kid who, is distant from his family, distant from his friends, metaphorically speaking.
Distant.
Literally, when you look at it.
Literally.
Silas, where are you located right now?
I am currently located in the Tampa Bay region. I'm not going to give you any more details, but I am in
Yeah.
Good,
Florida.
as long as you're not in space.
No.
I am on Earth.
No
I am
spoilers,
dealing with a
people.
storm.
All right. All
Singdu,
right.
was there
We're gonna
anything?
go with the next question.
Did Singdu want to answer, or are you good?
I could, but I'll have to try and keep it even more brief than you guys.
Read speed
I
run.
suppose real fast, two things. It's been stated, but we're stating again in a different context. The story's very genuine. Can't get around that. The other thing, which has not been stated, and I don't know if I'm the only one who noticed this, but is the context of the title to the story. Because going through it first time, it's like, oh, Space Boy, it's kids
a boy
stuck
in
in space,
space.
right?
Oh wait.
And then going through it further,
true?
like, wait, no, this is a pun. We're talking about Space Boy, the fictional thing that he remembered as a kid. And then you're like, okay, well, it's both at the same time. Which probably means the title is going to have a different context further.
You just blew Clana's mind because I don't think she's read the Arno arc yet.
What?
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
He tried to
Yeah,
go
the
into-
spoilers?
Okay, let me explain. I want my reactions in recording to be my genuine reactions. So I'm reading the comic as I'm recording. That has been my challenge, and it's been
Okay.
hard. But yeah,
I'm so sorry.
So you just blew my mind, and that's
Mad
really
respect.
cool. I'm not mad.
Okay.
No,
Alright.
that's a
Yeah,
great
the
thing.
context of the title is just what I'm going to mention. But by all means, go into the next question.
Silence, can you take over the next question while I go and use the restroom real quick?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Okay. So from C. Riojas, which is the lovely Dola, that sweet cotton girl from the earlier episode.
Ah,
She asked, did any of you expect the roles you got? Was it a surprise? Was the roles you got the ones you were particularly trying to get for? And I'm going to start this question with Natasha Berlin, because she has a very unique story to this question.
So I was on the decision board, and so this, when it came to the roles that I auditioned for, because a lot of people on the decision board did also audition for characters, and basically what we ended up doing anytime we were auditioning for a character was, when we were discussing the characters we auditioned for, it was you guys decide. I'm a biased party. But I auditioned for several roles, but I really did get attached to the idea of voicing Cassie, because like as I was reading the comic, I'm like, yes, I could totally see myself fitting this role. I would find myself reading the comic out loud to myself in my room, just reading Cassie's lines, and I'm like, I feel like my voice really fits. I feel like I really like connect with her, and so it was really hard, like hearing the decision board like debate on Cassie, because I was like emotionally invested, and I'm just like I was just trying very hard not to like pressure them, but they could definitely tell I wanted it really bad. But like they were really objective about it, and bless them for it, because they were like, you know, if Hannah's a better option, we're gonna go with her, and that's okay. And I was like, yes, I will respect whatever decision they made. But I was really happy when I did end up getting the role, because it was the role I wanted the most. I auditioned for several more. Like, I was really close to getting Tammy as well, and this is actually after I was already cast for Cassie. The reason AK ended up getting it is because, like, I already had a main role, and AK didn't have any main roles, and her voice just fits so well. Like, our voices... Oh, yeah, absolutely. Our voices both fit for different reasons. It was an interesting thing auditioning for Tammy, though, because I already had the role for Cassie at the time, and so I actually, for my audition scene where the two of them talked to each other, and recorded both roles, and put it together, because the main concern would be that they sounded too similar.
Oh.
But they were impressed because I was able to do two very different voices for them. So it's not my strong suit doing different voices, but it was fun. But I'm glad that AK got the role because she kills it. She's just so freaking cute.
She's amazing. I love her, especially when AK like really unleashes like the anger in the interrogation room. You guys have such awesome talent to look forward to. It's great.
Yes. I believe the next episode is going to introduce AK as our camera and Big Boy as our Schaefer. I think. I'm not 100% sure.
Yes,
I have to look at the thing.
Yes.
It is? Okay, great. Let's go to Dill. Did you expect this Oliver to be your best boy? And were you vying to get Oliver as your character?
Oh, well, I had auditioned for Oliver and Zeph, and I did end up getting callbacks for both of them. So then both of the callbacks, I really listened to the directions that Silas and that Aaron both gave me. And so I did put a lot of effort into, and so I figured, well, you know what, I think that I have a pretty decent shot at getting the parts. But then I also remember hearing, you know, Eli's audition for Oliver and Flacco's audition for Oliver, and I thought that they both did it really well. So I was like, well, you know, the part might go to them too. But then I also thought, well, Flacco also auditioned for David, and I think he had like the best David voice. Then Eli auditioned for Zeph. And I was like, he definitely has a better Zeph voice than me. Like, I didn't think I was going to get Zeph at all. But then I was like, well, if they give Eli Zeph and they give Flacco David, then, like, by process of elimination, I don't think they're going to give them two characters, so I would end up with Oliver. And that was my thought process. But then, like, I found out later that that's not what they did, that was actually, like, one of the first ones they chose. And that's what surprised me, was that they genuinely liked my audition, and it wasn't because of the process of elimination. But yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're on the...
Who next?
Who next?
Oh,
we lost Silas.
Silas. Okay.
Oh, he froze.
I volunteer as tribute. Okay. So I was really honestly like just happy to get any part and just be a part of the dub as a voice actor in whatever part that would take shape, you know, in whatever way that would take shape. But the more that I read for Amy and the more that I read into the comic to like try and pick an auditioner's choice to submit, the more I was like, man, I love this, and I love her character, and I love reading for her. And I think, wasn't it for the auditioner's choice, wasn't it the scene where she's talking with Oliver on the bridge about Gemma?
Yes.
Yeah. So I wound up... So because you know most of the audition scenes were showing like there was one showing her peppy side and one showing more of her narrator side, and I was like, okay, what can I do to kind of like show a different side of that? And I reached that scene in the comic and her like emotion that shows through in that, and I was like, I know I can do this. So I recorded that. And when it was neck and neck with Aaron and I, it was like, I was like, so torn, because it's like, I wanted to be the super, super supportive big sister, you know, and if she got it, I would have been so thrilled. But I also would have been like really disappointed because like I just love her character so much.
Yes.
And I wasn't really expecting to get Amy. I was just like, yeah, I'll just be happy with whatever. I was hoping for Amy. When I came down to Erin and I was like, oh, she's gonna get it. She's like a natural, you know. So I was really shocked.
I would not be
very
able to
shocked.
handle a leading role on top of everything else I am doing.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. So
I'm
yeah,
no Lin-Manuel Miranda as much as I would like to be.
I cried.
Yeah.
I cried for
I-
sure.
I was kind of in the same boat as Hannah, that I threw my hat in a few rings that I thought I might be good for. Didn't try, or at the very least tried not to expect anything. I thought I did a relatively good Amy / Little Amy, but I genuinely did not expect for me to get so far, honestly.
She's much
yeah.
more talented than she realizes.
But yeah, I genuinely did not expect to get as far as I did, and I'm personally really happy with Little Amy. I really like voicing her. I'm excited for when we get to a chapter where she actually does talk and doesn't just do little you know.
You also do Brian.
I was hoping for certain things, but oh yeah, I did Brian.
Oh,
I
yeah.
completely forgot about that. Brian was fun. No, nobody was really auditioning for Brian all that much, and I thought, well, I can kind of pull off a little boy voice, I think. So I tried, and
I tried so
I
bad, but
partially
the
won
worst
by-
I did was a tween. I sounded like a freaking tween. It was bad.
Sounded like
I
Larry
tried.
David.
So I hope that I do a convincing like 9-year-old boy well
You
enough.
do.
It was fun.
Yeah,
My
that's
vocal
pretty
cords
good.
get shot every time I voice him because he's basically constant screaming.
Yeah.
Ash
It was fun.
Ketchum.
So
It was
Larry!
especially fun working with Passy. It was especially fun working with Nat.
Those are some of the most fun lines to voice. It's just like, Brian, if you don't let her in, I will knee you in the stomach until you barf!
Fine, I'm letting your stupid friend in.
Give her an iced tea with lots of sugar!
Okay. Fine. All right. Who next for answering things?
Yeah, I got you. And then after we should try and like speed run because I think Flock
Yeah.
only has like 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Same.
So with roles, whenever I audition, I learned since I started when I was younger, that I shouldn't really like put a lot of like what's it called, a hope and attachment into the
Yeah.
role. As much as I love Spaceboy, and I was obviously a little hoping more that I would get involved with the project. That's just how I've learned to avoid just stress overall, and that's how I go about all my roles now. Whenever I audition, like just put in an audition. If it doesn't happen, just move on to the next one, you know. But I'm very happy to have gone into it. I'm really happy now. I'm really like super glad I got to voice one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
So, awesome. Let's move on, guys.
Alrighty, cool. So next question is from Roski Baptista. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but hopefully I am. Apologies if I'm not. All right. What's the most challenging part of this project? What's the most fun?
Shall we just go down the line under the Q&A voice chat
Yeah.
like icon?
sure.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel like that'll help.
Alright.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. I would say the most challenging is being efficient with our time. Because, as you can see, we tend to talk for a
Inefficiency?
very long
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
So
That's
much
okay.
ADHD.
Most table read. Yes, there's so many ADHD beans in this cast. This is why we have a hard time.
Yeah.
And so like all our table readings tend to go like this, where we'll go off on the tangent and have to rein it back in.
Yeah.
But also, I would say that is the most fun at the same time.
I tried to keep together at the start of the project, and that worked for a little bit, and then I'm just like, we're all bros. Who cares?
Yeah. So like, it's also the most fun about the project at the same time. It's just the way that we bounce off of each other and the way that our energy feeds off of one another is awesome. So, Dylan.
I guess for me, probably the hardest thing is also, I'm also really bad at managing time. So I'm really bad with deadlines, and I often like turn in things really last minute or like a little bit after the deadline. And so that's something that I'm working on, because it's a bad habit of mine. It's like
If
Yeah,
there's
like
anything
that.
more I can do to be helping you, let me know. That's literally
No,
my
'cause-
job.
Yeah, no. I just have really, really bad executive dysfunction. So like
Oh,
that's
me
just like part of
too.
Oof.
the part of my brain that's in
feel
charge of
that.
organizing things is just like all over the place, you know. So yeah.
I'm good at organizing, but I still have executive dysfunction.
Yes.
Nasty balance.
Yeah.
Bro, literally
Eli.
that is the same thing for me. You know how many times these people have told me to get in my damn lines and
We are the slave drivers. We're like, get your lines.
no.
on time.
Right-
We will have
right-
a schedule to keep.
We have like we have 1 week left until this episode ends. Like,
rightfully
not
so,
quite that
rightfully
bad,
so.
But it's almost.
Yeah.
That's what directors should do. Like you guys are doing an
Yeah,
amazing
yeah.
job of doing
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
It's just
absolutely.
my.
I try very hard not to be stressful to you guys. Just
Yeah.
giving you a nudge.
Still,
Yeah,
what's what's the most fun?
Oh, it's the most fun. Oh, just hanging out with everyone here, man. Like I just love the whole community. Not only just the cast and the directors, but also like the Space Pro community, which I'm like I'm not very active on the Discord, but I do like seeing it because it's just so wholesome. Like I feel like we have a really
All you
specific
supporters.
combination of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all the
Yeah.
supporters. I feel like Space Boy fans specifically, it's like people that are really childish but really mature at the same time.
Yeah.
Those are the best kind of people to be around, and that's just like what this server is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Preach.
Yeah.
Same thing. That
Yeah.
literally the same thing he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am not active on Discord. I should be more active, but I have a lot of fun seeing everybody, their art, the community just coming together. I like seeing y'all interact. Super
Eli
fun.
also does streams fairly
Yes,
often.
Ooh.
yeah,
Ooh.
I tried
I
to.
didn't know that.
Yeah, if you want to give people your Twitch, then you're welcome to it.
Oh heck,
Yeah,
thank you
Eli,
so much.
what's your Twitch?
It's all,
I wanna follow
like,
you.
I am unable to pay you guys for the amazing work you do, so please plug
have
yourselves
to.
in as much
You
as
pay us
possible.
in exposure.
It's just top tier, Eli, and slight language warning. No, pretty big language warning.
He keeps speaking in Latin.
Zep is legally like not allowed to curse, but that doesn't mean Eli's not. No.
Yeah. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's move on to Flacco.
Oh yes, Flacco.
Yeah. Most fun thing part of this project is whenever we do readers theater. We get
Yes.
everyone together and we read random
karaoke.
episodes at people's suggestion or karaoke. Yes, all the community events, all the
All
community
right.
events.
Do be prepared is like
What?
everything.
No, that
you
was
do be
Zindu.
prepared.
Zindu,
A
yes.
while ago.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Dang, yes.
And
I
Eli
stand
doing
prepared.
Can't Help Falling in Love. Oh, hearing
Oh,
Zeph's
that's so
voice.
good.
Oh
And he
my
did
gosh,
that.
Eli's crooning. Just,
Yeah. Both of our main 5 are
We are
keyboard
Sims.
singers, so
We are
will
Eli
use that.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
My favorite
um,
moment from that was
oh, yes.
when Flacco pretended to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he was like, "Hello there."
oh my gosh.
General
Like,
Kenobi.
He was Obi-Wan Kenobi for the entire 1 or 2 chapters out of Reader's Theater. It
Oh
was
my gosh.
amazing.
Oh my gosh, I
It was
think I
amazing.
missed that.
Chancellor
Yeah, I think I
Langley
missed
is
that
eagle.
too.
and then what's the most difficult part of the project, Flacco?
The single most difficult part of the project is having to maintain the voice of characters who appear
Oh.
very far between, very seldomly.
Oh.
Particularly Director Langley. He appears a couple of times in season 1, a bit in season 0, and then a lot more in season 2. So trying to keep his voice together, and his voice is already so nuanced that I have a hard time finding it most
You
most
Well though, like
Yes.
it's so good.
Yes.
Help me.
It's tricky. It's
so-
harder than it
so-
sounds.
Oh, I can imagine.
Pixie.
So for me, not necessarily voice acting related, but one of the most difficult things I'd have to say, on top of executive dysfunction, getting into zone is very hard. And then figuring out where to balance certain things that aren't necessarily 2 of my mains, which are either video editing or processing voice files, the recordings they send me, but also a lot of the, busy work and paperwork. Okay, we got to start getting this ball rolling. We got to start getting this ball rolling for future things while also maintaining this stuff. All that's a lot to juggle sometimes, but I can find a rhythm. But another really hard thing is when I do get into zone, dealing with editor's fatigue can be really hard, which
Yes.
is basically, if you don't know what editor's fatigue is, imagine this, you've been working on an episode that's like due in a few days and working on it for a few hours, you're in the zone, you're in a good groove, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, is it just me or is everything moving faster than it should? Does that transition look okay? Maybe I should just adjust this panning process just a little bit more. And basically you get fatigued of decisions and staring at the thing, all the lines are starting to blur together.
You hyperfixate on imperfections that aren't actually there.
Yeah, exactly. You start
And
to see problems that aren't there. It's like you're squinting at the screen because your eyes are tired and things are blurring together. And when it's with the voice files, you're like listening to like 3 takes at the exact same line, which you're like, okay, these all sound the same, but I can hear the subtle nuances underneath them. Which one is the best nuance? And you're just kind of, you gotta take a break and force yourself to work on something else for a while, or just like be a zombie for an hour.
What's the most fun?
Most fun, probably just interacting with you guys and also the premieres. I love the premieres when we finally get those episodes out into the world, the theme music's going, I'm sitting here with my family and with you guys in the chat. It's like one of the biggest highlights of my week. Same with the table readings. Table readings is a mix of like complete joy and excitement and also nervousness because I have a hard time articulating my thoughts sometimes.
Oh.
So I'll just be like snapping, trying to be like, oh man, I probably sound crazy. How do I like articulate what I want in a way that like they'll be able to be like, okay, yeah, I totally get what you mean, and not just like, okay, yeah, I
You
think I know.
do very well. You do a very good job.
Not as crazy as I am yet.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
that still.
What's the most challenging and what's the most fun?
Most challenging for me is honestly reining myself in. As like, you know, being part of the leadership and like, I also struggle a lot with ADHD, and so like I always am like really beating myself up for my habit of interrupting. But at the same time, because we're also ADHD, if I don't interrupt, I will never get a word in edgewise because we all have so much to say, and so that's honestly the hardest thing for me is getting a word in edgewise, or rather like, you know, just indicating that I want to talk but not feeling bad that I interrupt and stuff. And also just like I can be a bit overbearing when I'm not careful, and I'm always really insecure about that. And so like I feel bad that I'm like, you know, being too blunt or whatever, like, you know, so I'm just trying to like constantly overthinking the way that I'm interacting with people, especially as a leader. Like that is the hardest thing for me.
I feel that. I feel that on a spiritual level, although where you're like, where you like feel like you're, you know, too abrasive or too front forward or whatever. Sometimes I feel like I'm too passive, and I don't know. I don't want to say the word nice because I like to be nice, but like there's comes a time when you just need to like really kind of put your foot down. And I'm just like always nervous, like I don't want to stress people out.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like I'm mad, you know?
Yeah, Natasha and I, we usually take up that position where we put our foot down. Natasha is like my boss. I'm the
you
sub
guys are
boss.
more on the aggressive side.
What is the most
In a good
fun?
way. Yes.
Well, actually, I want to comment on what Duchess said in the chat because I've kind of got this role of in the marketing department as like the art critic. Like I'll give critiques and like, you know, if there's like, oh yeah, because especially because I'm a colorist for Space Boy, I consider myself like, you know, one of the more knowledgeable of the Space Boy style.
And we are very grateful because we are very grateful for that.
But then, like, someone commented once that, like, when they saw me typing in the marketing department, that they, like, could hear boss music playing in their head, and I'm like, no! No, I don't want to be scary!
level 100
God, let me tell you,
boss.
as the marketing head, you know, sometimes I very much appreciate Natasha's, you know, bluntness because, you know,
she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, she does know what she's doing, and you know, she came up to me one time and she was like, you know, Silas, you know, we're gonna have to kill the pixies. They're just too much. And then she was telling me all the reasons. She was being so blunt, and I was quiet throughout the entire time. And then she's like, Silas, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not okay. I'm heartbroken, but I'm gonna be professional. I'm gonna be professional about it because, you know, it was an experiment. And you know, Natasha's like, I'm so sorry, Silas. I don't want you to feel bad. And I'm like, no, I don't feel bad. I was like,
that was a hard day.
That's just my question. What's the most challenging thing? It's when you get so attached to a project, especially since I'm the marketing head. I get attached to so many projects that none of you guys know because I make sure no secrets are leaked from my department.
He is the spoiler guard.
I
when
am
it comes to,
definitely
like,
the
things
spoiler
that we
guard.
plan.
So yeah, that's the most challenging thing is whenever we have a project or it doesn't come through or I have to make the sad executive decision of axing it off the board and just being like, okay, we just gotta keep on pushing. So yes, I am determined to get that gag reel animatic done before September.
We can do it.
I am going to do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna organize this. I'm gonna talk to all you guys. And then the most one is definitely the community. So we're running out of time. A lot of us gotta go.
Do you want to do one more? Do you guys want to do one more question? Like, how long can some of you go?
I can stay till 3:30 max.
I can stay
I
one
can do
more and then I have to go.
Okay,
Let's let
do-
Flocko do one more.
I
can
never
do
got to
one
say
more.
the fun part.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
I was gonna say. I was like, no, it sounded like you were dying, so I was like, I don't know if I should say something.
Yeah, I did. No. Okay. Someone else already mentioned the readers' theaters and the table readings and the karaoke and all that. So, even though those are super fun and might actually be the most fun for me, I'm going to mention one that no one's mentioned. And honestly, the one that I enjoy the most is casting. Like, listening to auditions and trying to decide who is doing each one.
It's exhausting, but it's a good exhausting.
Yeah, like, it's so satisfying to find that right voice. I just love it. And honestly, I get so into it. So I'm beyond excited for season 0 auditions. That is one of my favorite parts.
I want to schedule a meeting with you guys soon so that we can finish getting all that.
Let's keep that for business. This is not business.
All right.
Yeah.
So one more question, and then
alright, I
Flocko
have
has to leave.
And actually,
Yes, I have one suggestion. I will say the next question, and then I have one suggestion. Since we have a plethora of questions left, how about this? I will DM you the remaining questions. You give me your answers. I will ask my marketing artists to make them into beautiful things.
Oh,
Yeah,
I like that.
we can do that.
Okay.
Well, like what Mr. McCraney does on the comics.
And I can
Yeah.
follow our
Does everyone think
Instagram.
that's the best
Follow
way
it
to
if
go?
you don't already.
Yes.
But
We
yes,
can
I think
probably
that's
also-
great.
Yes,
That's
like
fine.
what Mr. McCraney does.
Yes.
Yes.
We can probably also make a community post on YouTube of that picture as well, if it'll like hold the whole thing. We'll do our best to get it out on YouTube. Otherwise, just look on the Discord or on the Instagram for it.
Let's do it. Okay.
Yeah. Good idea. All right.
Last question.
All right,
Last
final
question.
question. Are you guys
Last
ready?
question.
This is
Ready.
the last question.
Yeah.
It's from,
Yeah.
It's from Jin Arts. And Lord,
Okay.
please forgive me, I do not know how to pronounce that. Jin Arts. And I'm curious as to what each voice actor's favorite line of their characters they are voicing. Do you have a favorite saying of the character? This is a beautiful question.
Aw.
Okay, I like that one.
So what is your favorite line that you do, and what's your favorite saying of the character? Essentially, is the question asking.
The part where I
We're gonna
trip.
start with Klana.
Oh, well, I don't necessarily have a favorite saying. I do love how much she is fascinated by nature and how much joy she has in taking in the world around her after she's adjusted more to living there. The line that is kind of a gag now, like an inside joke in the dub, is the whole, did you know the moon sometimes comes out during the day?
Dang.
We can't take it seriously anymore because we did it so much in auditions, and then like
Yes.
we would be walking the dogs, and the moon would be out in there, and then I would look at each other and we'd be like, "Did you know?"
Wait, did you
I
know that
actually
the moon
saw
comes
it
out during the
other
day?
And I took a picture of it and I posted it up. It's like, guess what I saw while I was doing my morning stroll? And everything, it's the moon during the day.
Like, we,
Yes, yeah.
we
So
can't
that's
go
kind
on
of like the inside joke. So yeah, that's my answer. Dill.
Oh, okay. Well, but I really like Oliver's like straightforwardness and directness because a lot of times he brings out like really funny humor that's like unintentional but like intentional for the audience. But yes, so like my favorite line to voice, which we haven't even gone over yet, but I did do this for my audition choice, was when he just like goes up to this dude and he's like, "You lose grasp on reality truly disturbs me."
I love that line. That is my favorite Oliver line in the comic.
Yeah, that's probably my
I feel
favorite
like
Oliver
that
line.
alone could be a meme. Like we could meme the heck out of that one.
Yeah.
So
And it's so funny. I
good.
love. That's why I chose that episode for
The
my
nothing.
audition's choice, and I'm really
The
looking forward to actually
nothing.
recording it because that episode's all over the place. Because the one like he's like yelling at Amy, then trying to calm her down, and then this kid shows up and he's just like, "Yeah, this guy's in reality truly disturbs me." It was so funny. I love it. Yeah.
I love
Don't
it.
forget
Alright,
Yeah.
alright, Eli.
nothing.
Yeah.
The nothing.
Oh, any voice cracking line. That,
Ah,
that,
That was
that's
one of the reasons why we casted you. You could do
Yeah, we
voice
know.
acting on too.
yeah.
Yep.
Other than that, he's just super like hyperactive, and I think a specific line I'd say I for some reason I thought you were in the lunch line.
Throwing shade.
Getting
Yeah,
a little
David.
frustrated with David.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Flacco.
I really love voicing Langley. Actually, we haven't seen any dubisodes with Langley in them just yet. But I really love doing like the villain, like very sinister, like has everything under control, but then also like answers to a higher up. It's an interesting dynamic that I really like reading for. I haven't recorded any of those lines yet, I don't think. But when I do, I'm looking
Outside of
forward
like
to
your
it.
callback recordings and stuff.
Yeah. Outside of those, I've done them for the callback recordings, and I've read that episode quite a few times, just for like readers' theater and things. So that's always really fun. Something that I really liked, my favorite line from David, was in a more recent episode when they were talking about the one like conspiracy theorist who's kind of like monetizing on everything that's happening.
Oh
with
yeah.
Amy.
Yes, the guy you
Dude.
want to shove into a locker, even if you're
Dude, no.
Yeah.
I can't wait to voice those ones, dude. Zeph gets crazy serious, and I'm like, oh
Oh
my
my
god.
Ah.
Bean,
At
he
the
knows
same
Yes,
Cassie in the gang. Okay.
Like David has
I
David has a
can't say
line in one of those
things.
recent episodes where he says like, "I'm not opposed to conspiracy theories. I just want one that brings me hope."
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
my God.
That is
Like,
the theme
whole-
of any
that whole
sort of
conversation.
news.
Clara has not watched Red season 2. Don't give her any
No,
more
no, no,
spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine.
I'm
It's
not
fine.
gonna
It's
say
fine.
anything
It's
more.
We're
fine.
keeping it vague. We're
I
keeping it vague.
have
Okay.
That one's not
squirrel
too bad.
brain. I will literally forget after this call ends, so you are okay.
All right.
Alright,
Pixie.
Okay,
Pixie.
Pixie,
Oh,
go.
yeah, me.
Ryan. Okay, fine. I'm letting your stupid friend in.
Yeah, that one's fun, and I think just the initial. Hold on a sec. Sweet little boy, demon child. That one's always really fun, and I need to reread some of Little Amy's episodes because I know that she has a couple of lines that I really love, but I can't think of them
I
off
love
the top of my head.
specials. I
The
love
Christmas specials are
ones.
very cute. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what are yours?
I really love the Cassie and Brian interactions, obviously. One of my favorite lines, like humor-wise, is the part where Cassie's like, "Good for you, Amy. Pizza makes you fat."
Yeah.
Yes, I love that one.
I had so much fun with that line. And then another one of my favorite lines to say, and I've said it so many times in table readings, I said it in both of my auditions, and it took me a lot to get to it. Like, it takes me a lot of build-up to get to the point, but one of my favorite lines to say, turn down your volume, is, "Screw you, David!"
I knew it. I knew it was
I
that
had a
line.
feeling it would be that one.
Yes. It's just, you're able to, like, dig deep into the emotions, and I love it.
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait for it.
It's gonna be
Alright.
so fun.
Silas,
Okay.
do you have any?
For mine, I'm
Leaf
not gonna lie to you. Oh my gosh, yes. When I was like, hey, who messed with my leaf pie? I was like, yes, this is a grumpy
leaf
man. He is pissed off. Somebody messed with his
Grumpy
leaf
man.
pie. And,
Next
oh my gosh,
level stuff.
I just remember going to Pixie and Natasha was like, can I please do some ad lib? Can I just like change
Oh
his
my
line a
God.
little bit?" And I did. I changed him so much. I really made him myself, and I love Canada. And the next thing I did, my next favorite line was actually the calculus teacher when he started kind of going to Amy, and it's like, well, I see now. That would explain some things why your placement scores are a bit lopsided. And he's like, you did excellent in all these and these. However, you totally failed history. And I was like, I can dig deep into that because I am such a history buff. And I was like, okay, this girl has no sense of history whatsoever. So
I
let me
don't-
reprimand
We're
her
going to
for
rip her to
that line.
shreds.
I was like this. So I was doing that line, and it's so fun. And Janitor is my favorite character to just be into, because Pixie hears this. I do these weird conversations between the calculus teacher, who I named Reynolds.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Reynolds.
I'm saving those for outtakes, by the way.
I did one with Janitor where I said his name is Jamison, and I'm just myself, and it's like we're three different people, and we're having this conversation. And
It's
Reynolds
like
and
he's doing the
Janitor-
janitor, the teacher, and himself, and flipping from one to the other on a dime into this whole conversation. Just like, well, maybe you would be a little more sophisticated. What did you say now, guys? Be nice to each other.
Oh my gosh,
It's
I love
fun to
it.
hear.
I love
really like
it.
to hear that. When we release the outtakes, I swear you guys are gonna love it.
I'm
Anyway,
so
Zingu,
excited.
Zingu, you're technically a voice actor, so what is your favorite line and saying?
Zing, stop.
I don't have any lines really to pick from.
Well, this counts silver.
What?
I don't count sober yet because I'm not officially sober. But
Everyone
I'm
else
gonna
counts sober.
Oh my god.
What would it? What would
Literally
it be?
all of us headcanon you as silver, my son.
Yes.
Yeah,
This
we
is
all do
true.
already.
This is
Especially our very own sober Sim. We are not.
Coconutty!
What a simp. Imagine being a simp.
the
Yeah, I mean,
only-
I'm gonna struggle to get this
Oh my
favorite
gosh,
line, I was gonna
Eli.
say, but
Imagine being a simp.
That couldn't be me.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, well, I think that's all we can do for now. We gotta let these guys go. But,
Yeah.
Zindu, did you have a favorite silver part?
no, I don't have the silver line, but I did have a line I was gonna say.
Oh, what
Jeez.
was the line? Say it. Say it.
Alright, let's see how quickly you guys can catch on to this.
No, I was just shopping, that's all. I got myself a really nice shawl to go with my homecoming dress.
Oh.
Anyone to see your boyfriend, was that so wrong? Is it wrong to be curious about my friends?
Yes.
Beautiful. Bravo.
Beautiful.
Standing
Yep.
ovation.
Alright, let's
Give
give
him an
everyone a round of
applause.
applause!
Woohoo!
Alright,
You all
and
are
we
so wonderful
shall,
and talented.
we shall save the rest of your questions that we couldn't get to. I'm sorry we couldn't do them all in one go. Y'all sent so
Yeah.
many wonderful ones, but we will
Yeah.
save them and we will get you answers for them and we will post them probably on Instagram or something whenever we get all the answers to them. So, thank you
So,
everybody for coming.
Yes.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Super
Bye, Space Cadets.
Everyone.
We'll
Bye,
see you
Thank
next
you so
time.
much. We love you.
Bye.
We're glad you exist.
Bye.
We're
Love
glad
you.
you exist.
We're glad you exist.
Yes, I'm glad you exist.
So long, everyone.
So long.